Get ready for the next battle, ladies and gentlemen. Say this for us in between. My name is SPF Dark. We're coming at you live here at IPL to bring you our May 2025 low ink. But before we get to our first match of the day, I am joined by a very good friend of mine here today.
Hello, everyone. I'm Neptune. You might have known me for playing with Sea Cows or helping out stuff with CCA production, but I am happy to be here today to bring out another fantastic low ink here. It is May 2025 edition here, and we have 81 teams signed up here, Dark.
Yeah, a bit of a big one here this time around, and low ink. You kind of expect like a big influx of teams coming to try out every single month, considering it is a monthly tournament here. So big numbers is always good to see in my mind's eye, anyways, to try and see good matches here. But speaking of our matches, our first match of the day, we see Pixel Per Ink versus PANGEA.
Ooh, Pixel Per Ink versus PANGEA. So I've never heard of these teams before here, but like just judging from like the names alone, this is gonna be quite a big one here. Because when you're PANGEA in all caps right here, you are large and in charge here. You're gonna be dominating the map mode here. With the first map mode gonna be Splat Zone's Hagglefish Market here.
Yeah, Zone Tago as an opener is a very solid pick in overall. Hold on.
Oh, wait. Is there Hagglefish twice? Hello?
Wait. I'm just saying that we do see two Hagglefish on the lineup here, so I guess Hagglefish is gonna be on the menu today. Considering as well, this is a playoff 3, we will be seeing that third game, regardless of if we see a 2-0 here within these first two games. But I think that's the first time I've actually seen like a double map in a single set here.
This might be a mistake. The voices in my head are telling me this, and I'm just wondering to myself here, how much Hagglefish can one team take? And especially if there's another set here, and it also involves either zones or TC Hagglefish. But it seems like the teams are getting ready here. Dark, let's jump into this one here and see how exactly things are going to be turning out for these two teams.
Yeah, I'm eager to see the initial weapon lineup for both of these two teams. Haggle Zones is definitely more of a standard baseline for a lot of just competitiveness and trying to figure out exactly how you want to play, what your team opponents are going to be doing, and whatnot. So this first game here is going to be very important to try and feel out that tempo, feel out that rhythm between these two teams here as we see a bit of an extended opening shot before finally jumping into the game. A weapon I'm already eyeing right off the bat is that S-Blast here over on one side, and I am interested in seeing the Dapple Duelist coming out on top of the Hydra.
Dapple Dualies and Hydra. That's not a combination you typically see because you have the blitzing speed of the Dapple Dualies mixed with the usually more slow, methodical, charge up, fire it all out Hydra weapon. But look at this opening, Dark. This S-Blast is doing numbers here, but going to be immediately traded out here, putting a lot of damage here on the board. A beautiful double with the Reef Slider to cap the zone. They're on fire today.
A good hold by PANGEA, just being able to repel this initial opening from Pixel Per Ink, getting the jump out as well as they are escaping. Now, a good hold from PANGEA could do absolutely a lot of damage here for Pixel Per Ink as they're coming here one by one, especially their online tactical and the Booyah Bomb and the Inkjet. A lot is used here to try and take the zone here, but it's not quite enough at the end of the day. PANGEA is unfortunately still holding strong on that zone, not letting them cap it just a bit longer as they pop their own tactical, trying to see if they can get any additional picks to potentially retake the zone.
Oh man, I'm seeing these flatlings. They're tagging them for a lot of bullets here, but that last hit is always escaping them and allowing the regroups happening for Pixel Per Ink right now as they are taking down the zone counters here. It's just very difficult to just try and find a way in, but let's see if that changed with this Booyah Bomb and the cooler coming out from PANGEA.
And important too is that PANGEA was that could have been a very nice swing, stopping that zone right before the lead could be swapped here. But now with the lead swap, there is a bit of a dynamic change here. As Pixel Per Ink is now currently in the lead and they're in control once again. Professionals are being committed here, but not much is being gained as Pixel Per Ink is starting to get really build this momentum going on their side. Cramtech on top of the tactical is a very good hold for them here if they can properly play this well. Unfortunately, going down to the Nautilus here as Pixel Per Ink is forced to back up just a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. They are forced to back up a little bit here, but hey, they do have to make it to this zone here. 15 ticks and counting, but 3 go down here. Pixels per inch, snuffing out the remaining members of Pangea and going to look like they're going to knock this one out. Game 1 of of May 2025 goes to Pixel per Ink.
Very, very fun game already right out of the gate. Both of these two teams are, I mean, knockout pending. Both of these two teams are relatively even here. I mean, Pangea was able to get a decent hold at the beginning there, but things just kind of fell apart at the very end. Pixel Ring was able to actually pick up some of the mistakes from Pangea and punish it very well and just lock them out from that point onward, just letting them ride down to, I believe it was like around 80 points all the way down to 0, which is very solid and very impressive on their end.
Yeah, for sure. I love how Pixel per Ink always just found a way to get out of those dicey situations. That's one of the benefits of Tactical Lure that is usually unexplored. People talk about the quick respawn. People talk about the holding onto your special when you get splatted. And forget about the aspect where you get so much QSJ that you can just essentially go in. If you can't find what you're looking for, just jump quickly back here and regroup. And that's exactly what Pixel per Ink was doing to be able to maintain so much momentum.
Yeah, I think tactical definitely is going to be key as well moving forward because I mean, we've played this game for so long. Tactical has always been the front face for at least for the better half, a year later of the year and a half that we've been through playing this game. So it's no surprise seeing it coming for us here. And I think one interesting thing at this point, we are in the current game state is the fact that people are starting to actually deal with tactical and work around it a lot better. So I'm interested to see exactly how these two teams are going to be trying to work around that moving forward, especially heading into Rainmaker Sports Gorge. Tactical can actually be a very powerful leverage here if you're the Rainmaker with the tactical speed buff, because you can absolutely take a lot of distance and take a lot of ground with those two combinations.
Yeah, for sure. Tactical is very strong for those reasons that you said before. Just being able to keep up the momentum and just move very quickly with the Rainmaker is so crucial, especially on Scorch Gorge, because once things get out of hand, they get out of hand fast. So I'm interested to see which team is going to utilize the tactical the best and how they're going to be able to play around it as well. And if it's going to be anyway like game 1, I'm going to put a little bit of money on Pixel per Ink for using it a bit more effectively.
Yeah, most definitely. Though Pangea definitely has shown that they can effectively fight back at least a little bit against Pixel per Ink, so they're not exactly out of the count just yet here. And as we are here getting the overview once again, seeing exactly if there's going to be any major changes ups here, it doesn't seem like there's any changes from Pixel per Ink. Neither is going to be any major change ups from Pangea. They're both sticking with their guns, with what they're confident in, knowing that their weapon cards could actually win this game here. So now we're moving over the kickoff. We're going to see exactly who's going to get that first Rainmaker pop.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I gotta highlight this regular Brella here. No, it's Sorella Brella. Not something you commonly see here. Only in low rank you'll see this. But look at Joshua just taking on these fights here, being able to live through it, get a second splat already, and pop this jet here was not enough. But 3 going for that 4th right here. I think this Brella pick has been really going strong here and playing off in miles here, Dark.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, looking at Pangea's comp, Brella kind of shoehorns a lot of those weapons. They're mostly slow fire rate weapons that Brella can absolutely take advantage of, and it has been taking advantage of. We see the Rampage here as Pixel per Ink going in with that tactical speed up, taking it all the way down to 17 points remaining within the first minute of this game, mind you. 2 finally going out of Pixel per Ink. Pangea struggling to reclaim their own turf here as they finally pick up the Rainmaker to try and get anything going on their end.
Oh my goodness, a 17 push off in the first minute here. Talk about an explosive start, but a beautiful trade from the S-Plus. They're getting called out by that Hydra here as well. And this is a very difficult situation to be in when you're a Pangea here. You're forced to Booyah Bomb in response to this jet right here. The armor is broken here, but oh, the Booyah Bomb in response here to take out that Brella. That's been oh so pain. But look at the Rainmaker. It's already back in their spawn here and causing even more damage here. Dark living into all of that.
Man, that Rainmaker is definitely the thorn in their side for Pangea right now. Still being on their side of the map means that that's a little bit of extra time they need to take to actually move it forward here. But now it's back in position of Pangea. Pixel is going to just bunker down a little bit to see if they can get ready for this incoming push here. But maybe a bit of their attention is maybe on the wrong side of the map as Pangea is looking to get this Rainmaker duck going in and get that first checkpoint broken through. They may have had a rough opening, but they're not down for the count just yet.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like they managed to find a way through to slip through that first checkpoint, and this is where usually things get a little bit dangerous here. You need to survive this if you're Pixel per Ink here. Using the jetpack to get off the stage to dodge the Reef Slider. This is a seasoned jet player here, but unfortunately, not going to be enough here to keep this Rainmaker going here, Dark.
Yeah, a bit of a reset as this game goes back to a mid-neutral state. We see Pixel cleaning up the remaining members of Pangea as they get ready to get their own push going once again. But the S-Pass unfortunately goes down without the tactical lure. That's huge here, as that means that they're forced to stand here in mid a little bit longer than they probably would like, especially with that tactical time going down. Finally being able to regroup at 1-4 trades, but the dualies does go down, meaning that they're still down to player in this endless push. They're going to try and pick up the Rainmaker anyways to see if they can get any additional movement against the Rainmaker far forward as best they can, but no, they get hunkered down immediately and just get that Rainmaker taken out of their hands.
Yeah, for sure. And this is always like a struggle point when it comes to a team that has such a definitive lead. They can often just toss the Rainmaker in spots where it's inconvenient for the enemy team to find a way to push the Rainmaker forward here. So instead, they just got to make a break for it. Grago is up front. Everyone is back in spawn. They're making a break for it. They have the tactical cooler. They might be able to swap the lead. 3, 2, 1. They managed to do it all the way down. Last 2 minutes here, Dark.
And huge lead swap here just completely shifts the name of the game. Pixel now has sitting at 9 points remaining on their side. Pangea made a huge blow to their push, and now they had to try and contest the lead within the final minute of this game if they want to win out this second game here. And it's going to be a bit of a hard one. That 9 points remaining is such a difficult thing to try and contest. This is so close to the spawn, but with 3 down, it could definitely be possible here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely possible, but I do see some specials coming out on the side of Pixel per Inch. A Booyah Bomb's already traded out to you. They do have the Umbrella here, but Jelly is going to make a run for it. It's not quite enough here. It's just the Umbrella left over. Can they manage to live this fight? The jumps are coming in here. It is a chaotic scramble for this Rainmaker, but oh my goodness, 3 are down. It's just the Hydra remaining. Wipeout happens. A retake here for you to lead. Pixel per Inch comes back at the 7th hour and just knocks it out here, Dark.
That was the most pendulum swing back and forth Rainmaker game I've seen for the final half of any Rainmaker game I've seen. Pixel got a huge lead in the beginning before Pangea, the stars aligned, and they were able to run away, taking it all the way down to 9 points remaining. But Pixel kept their cool, did not let that stress get to them, especially with less than a minute remaining to try and contest 9 points. That's the hard thing to do here, folks. And to be able to do that and take the knock at the very end, I mean, you gotta commend that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I gotta give my flowers to both Pixel per Inch and Pangea for swinging those huge leads. I have to give a shout out to the Nautilus. I think that their name was Groggy, right? Or Grago? Grago, yes. Grago found a way to slip past the defenses there. They realized Pixel per Inch were just in the sauce. They were fighting too many people here, realizing, wait a minute, I can just take this Rainmaker and run with it. I'm tactical. We were talking about that earlier in this before the game started here, and how you can just move so fast. That Rainmaker was able to blitz all the way down to 9. But the response from Pixel per Inch, wow, just calm, collective composure in such a high stressful situation, recognizing, okay, we need to have a large task in front of us. Let's organize our push, use our specials accordingly, jump in and win those fights, and just win the game from there. Just, oh my goodness, beautiful.
Oh man, that Rainmaker game definitely was beautiful. It's just an unfortunate thing for Pangea. They had the right play, the right things going for them, but unfortunately could not close it out at the very end. And now we're heading to our third game, a play of all 3, as it is tradition here for a low ink. So we will be seeing this third game, which I do believe is actually going to be Tower Control Hagglefish Market.
You know, these teams can't get enough Hagglefish Market. I think that's what the low ink TOs intended here. You know, they need to realize that the market is how do I say it, overflowing with the stocks, quite opposite to real life here. But, it's a fictional game, fictional world, and we're going to be going to Tower Control Hagglefish to hopefully see how this game 3 goes. Because remember, folks, it is play all 3, not best of 3. So any additional points here or game wins can definitely help in the tiebreaker for any team here.
Yeah, I mean, this early on, you're 50% of, I've said this with you, I believe I've said this with you, Neptune, before, but your first round of the game, half of the people are going to win their first set, and half of the people are going to lose their first set. It's just how the statistics go, and sometimes it's just going to be a coin flip on whether, or depending on which side you're going to be. And so after that second game, you go 2-0 on your first game, you lost a coin flip. Oh, well, you still should definitely just try your best, try your absolute hardest to win out this third game, because it could actually be the linchpin you need to actually make it to bracket, or maybe to move on to day 2 or not. And we see here, heading into this game number 3, a few changes from both sides.
Yeah, for sure. Just sticking to their guns here. I still see the Brella here. Grago taking away that Nautilus and just going for the classic V-shot here. Already trying to fight here, but already getting called out right here. Now, this can be very dangerous here, especially with the tower being taken. Special charge is quickly going to give Pixel per Inch an immediate advantage here, but not if Pangea already finds a response here. It's coming out swinging.
A good collapse here from Pangea against Pixel as they're trying desperately to clean up that jump in, unfortunately losing it out here as we see Pangea getting ready to get their own push here, but the duelist is still on the back line. On the sideline, Flank is able to try and cause some chaos there and cause Pangea to lose out that push with only a 3-point difference right now. These 2-point differences here is so minor, it's not substantial. It can still swing either way here, as Pixel is definitely starting to look to get their own push going once again.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. It's a very tricky situation to be in, but definitely Pixel per Inch has the advantage now. They managed to get through Scrap City in order to be able to find these picks and secure this tower. Look at it, it's just cruising along here. The first checkpoint's going to fall, and this is where it gets dangerous here for Pangea.
Oh yeah, the second checkpoint, if Pixel can play it right, is when a snowball can turn into an absolute avalanche here. Pangea is struggling to try and take their claim, take their ground here. Second checkpoint already gone, 2 players down from Pangea as they head to that third checkpoint. Inkjet's coming out on top of the Ink Strike. There's going to be a lot of area denial here from Pixel as they break through that third checkpoint, heading to the final minutes. And with only 8 ticks remaining, 2 players down from Pangea, they need to try and struggle to come into the tower before it can be lost here. Pangea still holding on strong with a wipeout. They head out with 5 points remaining to their name.
Oh my goodness. I thought it was over, but Pangea finds a way to stick in it here. 5 points remaining. Well, that is very difficult. No lead is safe, especially with 3 minutes on the clock here. Oh, using the Umbrella Shield to defend yourself from the Reef Slider, but you're not going to be able to live through it here. The fight's just, again, Scrap City. These jumps coming in here, being punished here, and it's just going to allow Pangea to get the momentum they've been looking for since the start of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Now things are trying to turn into Pangea's favor once again, taking the tower, pushing it forward a bit to now for Pixel as they had especially since they have tactical here. That first checkpoint might be able to go down here. Reef Slider's definitely going to come online by the time Pixel re-engages here. We see Hydra trying to come out, or not Hydra, the Heavy Edit trying to come out to get that tower under their own control, but not enough manpower here means that Pixel is unfortunate to give that first checkpoint. Inkling can come out for Pangea to create some more space as they head into that second checkpoint, and 2 players down for Pixel Pangea is starting to look really good here.
Yeah, they're looking really good here. This is a matter of getting through the second checkpoint. It's going to be the hard part here. They do have Booyah Bomb just to tank a little bit more face damage. They do manage to break the second checkpoint, but at what cost are all their lives?
Yeah, a bit of a wipeout is not what you want to see there, but there's still 1 minute 40 seconds remaining, and it could be huge. That second checkpoint getting knocked out is a big deal for Pangea, and I think it may be worth it in the end here, depending on how this fight in mid goes. 1 minute 30 seconds remaining. It's a 1-for-1 trade. 2 players down from Pangea means that Pixel has the player advantage as they're wanting to try and go on the defensive here, but no, Grago coming out, gets the shot from under the ledge, and is able to take the pick and keep control of mid here as Pangea is just trying to play it slow, play it steady, see if they can get the proper opening to get their own push going against Pixel.
It's very difficult to get your push started here, especially when so much pressure is being exerted by the enemy team here. It's very difficult to keep up this momentum here, but you gotta find a way to break through. This Brella escaping with their lives, being able to jump out here, but gonna end up on the tower, but ran through anyways. Just PANGEA is coming out swinging, recognizing this minute, it's now or never. Let's get this aim over with.
And now or never indeed. 50 seconds remaining. That second checkpoint's gone. The thing, that daunting task for PANGEA here is, can they break that third checkpoint? Ingzuka doesn't find anyone. That is a huge loss for PANGEA, as Principal Ring just needs to play it slow, play it steady. Ink Strike's being used here. I may disagree with that Ink Strike there, especially considering how much time is left on this game here, bro. 2 players, 3 players down. Maybe still worth it at the end of the day here, folks. There's 20 seconds remaining. PANGEA is forced back to spawn as Principal Ring is taking mid here and are looking to try and lock out the remainder of this game.
Yeah, for sure. The early trip strikes is something that I was not anticipating here, but it got them so much space and allowed them to move forward here. These last 10 seconds here are going to be a giant scramble here. They have an Inkjet and another strike that's coming up here. PANGEA needs to find a way to hold on. We see a Reef Slider come out, but not quite going to be able to touch the tower there. Unfortunately, not giving them overtime, but giving Pixel Per Inch a clean 3-0 in the first set of the day.
I mean, even though the set says 3-0, PANGEA did not go down with a fight. Twice in this set, they have made it a very close game, closing the gap down to 9 points remaining on the Rainmaker, now to 21 points remaining on Hagglefish tower control. PANGEA used to have a lot of fighting, and you were fighting tooth and nail to stay alive, but it's unfortunate that Pixel Ring was just barely able to come out on top here in this set. And man, oh man, what an exciting opening set this was! Oh, and folks, as you are wrapping it up here, we are going to head for a quick break as we are getting our next matches ready. So don't go anywhere just yet. Use the bathroom, get your snacks, get your food or water, whatever it is you need, as we come back after this quick break. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, in between. My name is SPF Dark. I'm here with Neptune, and we're with our second match of the day. We're gonna be seeing Sonata versus Arrows of Earth.
Oh boy, the second set of Lowing here is definitely something that you have to watch out for, I feel, because as we were talking about before, the first set might be one team favored where you win it just clean feeling, and then the second set can be either a swing of things or just a momentum game here. So definitely both these teams are looking to come out on top here to try and secure a little bit better placement in the Swiss groups here. We are on the second group here, by the way. So Group B, right? The first match that we got was Group A. So I'm looking to see which of these teams will come out on top here. Sonata has quite a number of players here, and Arrows of Earth here. I've been looking a little bit at their weapons here through the Sendo bios, and I think we're going to be seeing an Octobrush on the side of Arrows of Earth here, which I think is a very strong weapon, especially when it's played correctly and it's not being accounted for. While Sonata seems to be busting out a Dapple Dualies, so we'll see how this goes here, Dark, because both these teams are going to be bringing their A game here with the new weapons and see what can happen.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the Octobrush pick 2 here because we're heading into Clam Blitz Scorch Gorge, and I think Scorch Gorge has a kind of easier time to use Zipcaster if it's the Zipcaster Octobrush anyways, if that gets used here. Because Zipcaster is just I think it's a very fun special that I think more people should be using to try and be in the backline, try and be annoying with. So we're seeing here the kickoff from these two teams, seeing exactly what's going to be brought here. It is the Octobrush with the Zipcaster, but also we see the return of my beloved S-Blast once again.
Oh man, waiter, we have more S-Blast here just for you, Dark. S-Blast has been a very popular pick lately because it's such a strong, well-designed weapon here with Burst Bomb, and people love their Burst Bomb, and they love that Booyah Bomb that recently got buffed here as well. But already 2 down here, and already it's looking like Sonata is looking for a push here, getting a wipeout already.
Quickly moving, Sonata gets a wipeout, gets the power clam, deposited into the clam basket, and is already trying to tick away with more points into the game here. Bubble being used to extend the lead even further. Another wipeout. Sonata is not here to play, folks, as they're just getting this clam after clam, cashing in as much as they can, as they're just keeping this momentum on a roll here. Arrows of Earth struggling to get anything going on for 3, finally going down with a wipeout of their own, but the damage has already been done.
The damage has been done indeed. Down to 26. We talk about good clam pushes, usually scoring around the 60 mark here, but no, that was such an amazing push involving multiple wipeouts. The only thing that stopped it there was just the steady stream of clams, as well as Arrows of Earth finding their way to get back into mid here. They have the cooler here, tossing it back. Interesting play, just definitely taking the safest route here. They do not want Sonata to run them over here, especially with that Zuga coming out to go down here. It seems like it's going to be a dicey situation for Sonata.
Yeah, this could be a bit of a momentum shift here as Arrows of Earth has a good hold on mid. They have the power clamp, but they don't have a lot of clams to try and cash it in here, so they're going to be playing to try and recover it here. But the 1 point thing here is the pity clam all the way back under their own clam basket. They go in, deposit it, but not much else is being scored here. Only 2 additional clams being thrown in here. Make that 3 as Arrows of Earth is struggling, but just not being able to hit as hard as Sonata as they're keeping a stronghold over this ramp before the clam basket finally closes up once again.
Oh man, that was such a rough situation to be for Arrows of Earth right there, because you did not have the clams to be able to push it back in and keep that basket sustained there. It seemed like the edit was trying to go for a play right there where they can keep the basket open, but unfortunately gave up their life and going to slow down the cooler output just a little bit here. But already you see the Decapitator coming up from the heavens, coming down here, and it just seems like both these teams are in Scrap City once again here, Dark.
A lot of fighting. There's a lot of just front line, just constant dueling, fighting, scrapping between these two teams. Giving there's a Wiper, Decapitator, Shaw, S-Blast, Dreadringer, Octopus. There's gonna be just a lot of just scrambling moments from both sides here. Because in the midst of all that, Sonata comes in, takes the power clam into the clam basket once again. Not necessarily being able to cash in a lot of points, but just to at least chip away at some of their penalty points here. But I don't think it may be worth it here because you gave another power clamp to Arrows of Earth, who already don't have a lot of penalty points and can absolutely run away with a good amount of lead swap here if they can get their cards right.
Yeah, for sure. Giving them that additional pity here does give them a little bit of a comeback factor here. However, to get to this basket here, you must be able to get these picks right here. The Octa Brush is a little hasty with the caster there and does end up getting punished as well. But you definitely see Sonata looking to clean up this fight in mid here. They're hunting for this S-Blast. They want to kill this Reef Slider, but the Reef Slider kills them here already. It's going to be quite a bit of a dicey situation here as Sonata is still going to be in control of mid and looking for his flank already. A is very dicey here, Dark.
Yeah, I'm trying to go in on the back line flank to just cause some chaos against Arrows of Earth. Doesn't really pan out too well as both teams are now down 2 players. Backing up a little bit, the Cairo is as they're just trying to hold their ground, make sure they have enough space to work with here as we get into the final minute of this game. Tactical going out means that Sonata has the cards in their hands to try to go on the offensive here to get a pick, get 2 picks, or get something going, but no. Arrows of Earth stands their ground, gets 1 pick, and now is trying to force Sonata as far back as they can.
Yeah, for sure. Sonata is definitely backing up, respecting these specials here, which they definitely want to do, and shoot back with a special of their own. They do manage to get a pick with this Trizuka here, but Doctor is going to be quite in a little bit of a difficult situation here, trying to get in, but can't get out here as well. Definitely seeing a lot of scrap here. It's just very difficult to break into this basket, especially when Sonata has such a great defense set up.
Yeah, those ramps are key points of interest on this map. Holding it, even if you might not have the best dueling power, if you can hold those ramps leading up to the clan basket, you can absolutely run away with the game, especially Sonata, as they have a 25-point differential here, so they can absolutely just stall Arrows of Earth out here. But when here we're moving into overtime, we have the Pity Clam still sitting under the clan basket. Oh, and I'm sorry, Pity Clam is being picked up by Arrows of Earth. They get 1-for-1 pick here, but not a lot of times left. There's only 30 seconds remaining, or 50 seconds remaining of this overtime. They gotta move now if they want to try and win it here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, it just seems like overtime is just not enough time here. The Reef Slider is their last Hail Mary play that just gets shut down here as well. Sonata coming out swinging, taking game number 1 very convincingly with that first push there.
I mean, yeah, their first push within the first minute of the game, they took it all the way down so low, so fast that Arrows of Earth, even though they had a decent plan going on here, they might have not been able to hit as hard as Sonata. I think what they were wanting to do there is just get multiple pushes in rather than one big push like Sonata, but Sonata just held it so well, held it so strongly on those ramps, just not letting Arrows of Earth get even close to the clan basket.
Yeah, Sonata recognized just the game state there, just seeing like, okay, we don't need to risk anything here. They need to be the ones to push into us here. And Arrows of Earth, unfortunately, just could not find a way forward here. I think there was a little bit of a frantic calling here because it was getting close to overtime. You hardly had any special there, and you're getting shut down by the Zuka, the pencil, just everything at Sonata's side there as well. It's just a very difficult situation to come out of here as well. But I'm curious to see how Arrows of Earth can potentially adapt to Sonata's more run it down play style, especially with 2 swords in the comp.
Yeah, I think this second game here is gonna be vital here to see exactly how Arrows of Earth responds to what Sonata has been doing here, and we're really moving on to Splatoon's Mahi Mahi Resorts, and I think this map most specifically is very interesting to try and test out some new theories, because on the one hand it is a very it's a very weird map. You know, whoever can actually get the first like decent hold on mid and the zone can usually ride it out until the water level drops, which is about 40 points. So typically whoever gets the first hold can kind of get those first 40 points for free before the map opens up, and then you can actually start playing the game because of just free water drop. It is such a tight and small map that you just kind of have to give it up, you know. So I'm eager to see exactly how Arrows of Earth is going to be performing here with this new map mode, and see if they're going to bring anything new here.
Yeah, for sure. If they do end up sticking with the same weapons here, I'm going to be very cautious in watching those ledges, especially because we already have a Wiper that's able to hit under it. A Decaf can Shark under it on the side of Sonata here. But for Arrows of Earth, they have the Dreadringer here. The Dreadringer is infamous for being able to just hit over those ledges, provide a lot of paint, and most importantly, paint for that Reef Slider that could potentially extend the game if it's not dealt with accordingly. But we are going to be getting into this one. Let's see what they bring here, Dark.
Finally heading to this next game. This is going to be a very interesting thing to see exactly if there'll be any major changes. Not too much of a differential here from either side, folks. They're confident with what they're bringing, and so we heading to this game number 2, breaking off to see who can exactly get this first hold of mid and who can ride those huge points within this first minute of this game. Both these two teams fighting out over mid. So first pick goes in favor of Arrows of Earth here, and can they follow it up with a solid hold here, 1-to-1 trade here between these two teams? Tactical Alert is online for Sonata, so they can potentially try and flip this, force a flip here, but no, Arrows of Earth is still holding strong.
Arrows of Earth, in contrast to the first game, is going to be the ones that are going to be initiating the fight here and getting a lot of resources here. They do need to live through this Zuka here, but you do see a Reef Slider in response, trading out one of those members here as well. But this bubble, beautiful bubble here on zone is going to allow Sonata to be able to get back in, forcing the edit back, but unfortunately going to get caught out by the shot.
Getting caught out here means that Sonata has a solid hold here on mid of the zones, but 2 going down. The lead is swapped. Can they ride it out? At least the water level drops. They might be able to as 2 goes down for Arrows of Earth. But Aster Gaming here, Dodger gets his first opening pick here, but no, they're deciding to back off here, and Sonata is the one to claim their first 40 points. The water level drops, and now the map is really opened up, meaning that this game can now actually properly play here from both of these two teams.
Oh goodness, the Octobrush is being the one to paint zone here. You know it's desperate times when your non-painting guns are the ones that need to cap zone here. The jumps are all going to cycle in. Soda for everyone here. I love this aggression here from the edit, putting so much pressure. We do have Zipcaster and Bubble on the sides of Arrows of Earth and Sonata respectively here. Let's see how they're going to be able to utilize that to hold this zone.
I like this bubbler on the zone to just deny Arrows of Earth from being able to paint a lot of that zone there. And now Sonata was able to actually just clean up the zone and push back Arrows of Earth as they're getting ready for their own hold once again here. But importantly here, Addy has the Zipcaster at the ready here. And we're getting one pick. This could be the huge swing they need to actually start going forward. They go in, dive one player. They're actually getting one pick. They do get it yet another pick for her recalling. And that's the flip that Arrows of Earth needed to take the zone once again. And is now only 2 players for Sonata standing as they're forced back up a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I love this position Arrows of Earth is in, just being able to slowly chip out the remaining members here, as well as build up their own special here. They almost have another Booyah Bomb. The edit is putting on even more pressure. The Octobrush seems to be able to find one, but in return, taking out that Dreadringer here, you're going to have to watch out for the Zuka as well as the Hammer and Bubble coming out, but taking 2 down! That's the main painter's gone in the comp right now, and the lead is swapped here, Dark.
A good play from Arrows of Earth means that the lead is swapped and they can potentially run away with this game. Time is ticking for Sonata. There's only 30 points remaining for Arrows of Earth, but they are able to take the zone once again and at least give Arrows of Earth a decent amount of penalty points before finally maybe replenishing the zone here. But no, 2 goes down from Arrows of Earth. Sonata stands strong and takes the zone and is looking to try and push Arrows of Earth back, but unfortunately 1 goes down. Reef Slider comes again. 2 down for Sonata. It's just a back and forth pendulum swing between these two teams here.
Oh my goodness. I can talk a little bit about that Reef Slider there, because it just personally ran over that Wiper. That is some hater energy, as I've heard from one commentator calling right now. And you definitely see Arrows of Earth trying to establish a lockout here. They already have another Booyah and a Reef Slider here, but Soda's out. They're getting close to Bubble here. Azalea is going to try and find a way to break through once again. It's unfortunately being stuffed out by just so many members here. It seems like Arrows of Earth has caught on to exactly what Sonata wants to happen here and is adapting accordingly here. 19 points till the knockout here. A Zipcaster comes out here. That might be the dagger that can cause this game to be able to finish, but the cap on zone extends it.
Yeah, I think that Booyah Bomb should not have been popped there. Instead, they should have just gone in with the bubble and to try to fight themselves with the S-Blast, considering it has a close range mode here. But because they popped the Booyah Bomb, Sonata was able to recap zone and just give them a little bit of extra time, keeping them in the life for a little bit longer. As now Sonata is looking to try and see if they can get a poke out to try and engage once again here. But Arrows of Earth is looking strong here. Restart coming in to try and create some space here, but no, unfortunately whiffs as one player goes down. Sonata has to move in now if they want to try and stay alive in the game a little bit longer. They contest the zone and they're able to retake it once again.
Wow, I'm not sure what's happening that's allowing so much burst paint to just cap this zone here, but Sonata still finds ways to be able to make the impossible possible and hang in there. The last 30 seconds here, Sonata needs an answer to find a way forward, but it's going to be very difficult. Not when the Octobrush finds 3 members here. This is going to be the nail in the coffin here, unless something can happen here, Dark.
I don't think much could be done here. There's no specials online. They're gonna have to go in deep to try and contest this on the very least, but painting power from Sonata may not be enough here, as their Arrows of Earth is able just to outpace Sonata and take this second game, bringing the set to 1-1.
1-1 indeed. Okay, so we have Sonata coming out strong with game number 1 here, but now it's Arrows of Earth coming out stronger in game number 2 on a more neutral map mode here as well, because Mahi's a very, how do I say it, like, fair quote-unquote mode, in the sense that there's not a lot of cover here. You mostly have to use your main guns and coordinate with your team to be able to take space accordingly, and Arrows of Earth just played their game better. They had the better setups, they had the special timings a lot better there, but Sonata still had some really good moments there too, Dark.
Oh yeah, I mean, within the first few, for the first half of the game, Sonata was looking pretty dominant there, able to ride out those first 40 points to get the water level top, and then we're able to at least get a few extra points on top of that as well. But it's hard to say exactly what went wrong there. I think it might be the fact that Arrows of Earth is using last game and using this game as well to slowly pick up on things from Sonata and are actively learning and reapplying some of their strategies against them. And now heading into game number 3, it's going to be a question of, well, does Sonata think that they can just absolutely try and just hit fast and hard within the opening and stall out Arrows of Earth for the remainder of the game, or will Arrows of Earth be able to learn from their past mistakes and try and prevent that fast and hard approach that Sonata is going to be usually take, especially heading into Rainmaker Undertow Spillway?
Yeah, for sure. Undertow Spillway, Rainmaker. Ooh, okay. So my gut, my Wiper loving brain says Wiper is going to clean up here, especially with how powerful Hammer can be for extending plays and allowing a team to move in as well. We do know the infamous Hammer buff that just, once it gets tossed at you, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to explode into thin air here. But I'm curious to see what else can be done here, particularly on Arrows of Earth side, because it feels like they have the resources and the ability to set up. It's just a matter is, will they be able to set up? That's the main question.
It's hard to say right now, because there's also the factor of maybe Sonata just wants to try something completely different this time around to throw off Arrows of Earth from their set and just trying to keep them at a constant guessing game to try and make sure that Arrows of Earth can actually get properly set up and properly coordinated against Sonata here. But this map mode is fascinating, because you do have both the 2 different routes. Most people tend to go to the left route because it's definitely safer and more consistent. But the right route is always there for the gamblers at heart to try and take a chance of some extra fast points. And you know, with how Sonata's been playing with their fast and hard openings, I can very well see a world where Sonata just rushes that right checkpoint and just see if they can get as far as they can get it.
Yeah, for sure. Rushing that right checkpoint is a little bit of a gamble here as well, because if you do go right side, well, the enemy team does have a lot more high ground to be able to contest you out here. It's just finding out where they're looking and when to go for it. That's going to be the most important part in this game here. But looking at it, we have Omni coming in here with the Dapple Dualies here. So no more Wiper, but we do have something that can play like a Wiper.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing to note here is that this is Never mind. I thought this was the depths with the cooler. Never mind. Too many weapons in my mind right now as we see a Sonata try and get this opening started on their favor, but Arrows of Earth is actually going to be the ones to try and actually going to be the ones to force Sonata back a little bit as they go 2 down. But Arrows of Earth is not necessarily too successful here. Both these teams are relatively even in the midpoint. No one's been able to take the Rainmaker at all just yet.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing that's leading Arrows of Earth to have as much success as they had is just the lack of the ability to, how do I say it, for Sonata's side, just run in now, because with Undertow here, it's a very open map here, and as long as you're watching one of these sides here, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to get in here. But hey, they do have responses here with the Zipcaster here, already getting one, looking for that second, and getting it just beautifully, just the last tap of the last hitbox there for that Octobrush here. That's what we call a miracle, Dark.
I would be calling that a miracle if I was the one playing that as well. I mean, I was that brush player too. But as we see, a huge swing from Arrows of Earth means that they're able to actually get 2 additional picks off of Sonata and retake the Rainmaker once again. They're going to be able to actually try and flip the lead here, even though the points scored is minute. Looking to see Booyah Bomb thrown at that left-hand checkpoint. They're going to be able to get a clear path without any interruption. That first checkpoint going down for Arrows of Earth.
Yeah, for sure. And they do have a roof slider here to potentially extend this lead here. Sliding past the Rainmaker is a very interesting move here to be able to try and contest the backline here. But unfortunately, it seems like the other members of Sonata get caught out as well, and they can maintain this momentum here. Oh, there's a jump there as well. Can Addy find this as well? They do manage to find one, but not enough here. It seems like it's going to be a neutral game once again.
A good hold here from Sonata. Unfortunately for them, though, that first checkpoint is gone. So if Arrows of Earth does pick up that Rainmaker once again, and they're going to be able to actually get even more points without having to slow down to stop with a chance point here. But with one player from Arrows of Earth, Sonata's looking to try and get their own push going here. Resider coming in, doesn't necessarily get one, and it is punished almost immediately. But the Zipcaster comes in fast, comes in hard, takes out the Rainmaker, and jumps away.
Oh my goodness. Zipcaster is finding its value here, and with the Octobrush consistently getting these picks right here, it's going to be very difficult for Sonata to do anything, especially being bombed out here. We see Azalea trying their best to find a way forward here, but unfortunately gets shut out. Oh, never mind. That was just a distraction, a ploy, if you want to call it here, to get to that Rainmaker checkpoint. And look at this. They're about to pop it once again, Dark.
Yes, Sonata is in a very good position here. They don't want to try and let it go just yet, but unfortunately for them, Arrows of Earth is going to be the ones to just flush them out one by one, take up the Rainmaker, take up the Tactical, going to go on the offensive once again here. There's only a 1-point differential, folks, so whoever can get the next solid push going can definitely run away with a lot of points. But the Inkzuka coming out from Seth here means that Rainmaker is going to still stay in mid, going to still stick around to see exactly who's the one who can actually get the first proper push going here. With 1 minute 30 seconds remaining, things are definitely going to start heating up here.
Yeah, for sure. Things are going to be pretty dicey here, and putting a lot of pressure on these teams as well to be able to swing this lead or potentially extend their lead even further as well. And you can definitely see how Arrows of Earth has been mostly on the back foot here, trying to find a way to break back into mid as well. But now if the Rainmaker is a more neutral position here, Soda for everyone. The Zipcaster here is finding value here. Can it find value once again? I think this can decide the game here, Dark.
Oh yeah, the Zipcaster unfortunately does not find anyone, and that is probably huge for Sonata, not so big for Arrows of Earth, as the Resider does go in to try and get a follow-up here. It is unclear exactly what exactly happens. There's so much going on the screen right now. There's constant fighting, constant supposed being thrown about here. Sonata finally takes up the Rainmaker once again, and Azalea trying to see if they can get an additional pick here, as one player is going down for Arrows of Earth. This could be the huge position they need to try and run away with the lead. The Resider and the Bubbler means that they take that lead here, and they're trying to extend it even further. They go all the way down to 33 points remaining with the last 30 seconds remaining in this game. This is huge for Sonata. Arrows of Earth has to really try and work hard if they want to stay and to win this game here.
Yeah, for sure. Sonata is in a really good... We see Steph sharking you that Rainmaker pedestal, shutting down the Rainmaker preemptively. There is not going to be much of chances here going to be given here, especially with all these splats coming out in here. A little bit of a desperate jump there. They do manage to get these picks now, but this is where things get scary here. This last time that's going to be remaining here for Arrows of Earth to push is going to be right here, right now, but it's already going to be very difficult with so much pressure being involved here, Dark.
Yeah, overtime being contingent of the Rainmaker timer with only 30 seconds remaining on that Rainmaker. That means you have 30 seconds. Make that 20 seconds because then we're in a do not retreat zone to try and take this Rainmaker down to 60, 33 points remaining. But no, another do not retreat zone got hit for some miraculous reason. And Sonata, unfortunately, Arrows of Earth lost out on so much time. They're giving the second game to Sonata.
Oh my goodness, Sonata had such good plays and momentum right there. Arrows of Earth, I think they turtled up a little bit too much towards the end there as well, as Sonata was constantly just looking for a way to break in, and once they finally got it at the last minute, it was just too late right there as well. Very difficult situation to be if you're in Arrows of Earth, and very unfortunate because it says do not retreat when the Rainmaker is clearly going forward there. That is raising several eyebrows, and but like,
oh,
what the heck was that?
Man, oh man! According to the voices right ahead, the Rainmaker went up towards the sponge, which means that they are in do not retreat territory, which ate up a lot of their time. What should have been about a 50-second overtime timer for them once they got caught, just kind of vanished down to a 20-second overtime timer at that point, and you really put in a lot of pressure on Arrows of Earth at the very end that they probably shouldn't have here. And man, oh man, what a set it was regardless of the outcome, though both these two teams did extraordinarily well today.
Yeah, for sure. And I'd like to think just like how close it was for that Rainmaker game. You saw just how much righted on the last few minutes right there. Essentially, Arrows of Earth was very comfortable with the lead they had. They believed they could have defended that all the way as well, while Sonata was trying their best to try and find a way forward. And once they finally did, they snuffed out that Octobrush that's been a pain in their side all that time as well, and was able to take the lead along with that bubble there as well. That was beautiful coordination, just allowing those specials to stack on top of one another to allow the lead to swap their dark.
I mean, absolutely, man. Oh man, both these teams fought tooth and nail to try and win it there. But at the end of the day, it is Sonata who came out on top, and what a set that was. But with that being said, we are still waiting on a few more games to finish up here. So heading into another quick break, get your food, snacks, and bathroom breaks. So we'll be right back here after this break. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. That was in between. My name is SPF Dark. I'm here with Neptune, and we're with our third match of the day: Anxiety Society versus Coyote All Stars.
So I was talking with the producers and the commentators. Well, basically Dark and Inky here. I mean, it's not a surprise here. We love Inky. We love here. We were just talking about these names here. And I just gotta say, Anxiety Society, that is a team name I've never heard of. That is somehow very just catchy. I don't know how else to describe it, Dark.
Yeah, it's funny how how it easily rolls off to the tongue. Anxiety Society. I say this every single time I'm on the mic. I always love just seeing the wacky team names the community comes up with for their teams, because it generally just falls into like three different categories. You know, like you have genuinely like creative team names like Anxiety Society and Coyote All Stars, right? And then you have like the more like meme like team names, like some I think I've seen like some teams like are called like Stick Bug, with like the actual Stick Bug as their like profile or team profile picture, you know, or something along those lines. And then you have something that either has ink or splat or something squid or something along those lines.
Okay.
Those are like the three categories I see for team names generally.
So I was actually scrolling through the other team names here, trying to be more entertained, right?
Hmm.
Trying to see what names really caught my eye here, and one of them we were talking about this, or you were talking about this specifically, just the ones related to anchor squids or like octos or whatever, right?
Hmm.
And I love this one called low income income house, like, where it's ink instead of income. It's so good. I love that. And then the other one that catches my eye is work in progress in progress. So that is the most relatable moment, I think, as well. Just those two team names really stuck out to me, Dar.
Work in progress in progress. That is the whole career of my creative side here. But no, with team names, I love them. Anxiety Society +2, Coyote All Stars +2.
Oh my goodness, here. So enough about silly team names. Well, they let these team names do qualify as silly team names. I think I'm lying a bit to myself. I can't say that with a straight face and not snicker or smile here. But the first game is going to be coming up here. It's going to be TC Inkblot here. You know, a beloved classic, probably like one of 3 only good tower control map modes in this game. That is not very controversial. It seems to be loved by everyone here. So I'm curious to see what these teams bring out here, because it's one of those maps where anything can work as long as you have some strategy as well as the weapons to pilot it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tower control on this map specifically, it's just an all around like good map, because there really isn't anything necessarily that like gives it gives advantage to one specific weapon type or one specific playstyle. It has a little bit of everything for everyone, so I think that's what has led its credits to being such a just a viable like all arounder map, most be played for anyone, for everyone. But already right off the get, in the midst of me talking about this map, I am already looking at dually sculptures that from the side of Coyote All Stars. Probably one of the least played weapons I've seen in this game so far.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a weapon you don't often see due to its difficulty here, but it's being piloted by the Coyotes here as well. But I do like this Luna Blaster pick, the Zipcaster one. Most of the people find themselves using the Hammer variant here, but the Zipcaster has some credence to it, being able to just close that distance there as well, provide a lot of pressure here. I love Alex being able to swiftly dodge that Zuka and take home this checkpoint here, backing off as necessary. You can see Coyotes definitely love the position that they're in and looking to extend it even further.
A good momentum starting to build up for the Coyotes here, as they're already at that second checkpoint before finally going down. 3 players down for the Luna Blaster. Sunday comes in and the backline gets one, potentially getting another no before finally falling to the onslaught as Anxiety Society regroups and starting to get their own push going once again, especially with specials online. The Inkzuka from downtown gets the first opening pick.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. But I do like the Zipcaster in response here. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be able to find anyone, and that's going to be 2 down on the Coyotes here. This is going to be a time for Anxiety Society to start pushing here. What a DC!
No!
Dark, I think I'm having anxiety over this.
An unfortunate tragedy struck for Anxiety Society as they get hit with the dreaded disconnect here. That's not what you want to see, folks. And honestly, it's hard to say whether it is actually the player's fault or if it's the Nintendo servers being Nintendo, you know? But
Yeah.
sometimes it just happens when we deal with it. Nothing too drastic has happened with this game so far, so it really isn't the end of the world, all things considered, but it's still an unfortunate thing to see.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you felt like you're just about to get your first push going here, and it just immediately gets yanked out here by whatever Ethernet cable decided to work on Nintendo's side here. But you know what? They're gonna get back into this. It seems like it's the same players here, no substitutions as well. So we're just gonna go back into this. I think some of the teams were able to like learn just a little bit. Not too much, but just just enough information, just like what to expect, how these players are playing, what's their game plan here, and it can hopefully be implemented in a way that makes this more decisive here, Dark.
You know, as we're kicking off here once again with this with this opener for the first game, I do want to say that there might be a potential third hidden saboteur towards the disconnects here that I feel like we as community should be highlighting more, and that is the deep sea lines that brings us the internet running through the oceans are often attacked by the sharks, and so. If we need a third person to blame, I think we should start blaming the sharks fighting the deep sea internet lines.
Oh my goodness. So the sharks are the source of all my anxiety. I figured it out here, Doug. Thank you for putting light on this, as I would have never seen the light before the end of this. But I love shit here, taking this lively position here, but unfortunately they're called out by this sniper here as well. It seems like both these teams are neck and neck, just trying to find one advantage over the other here as well. But it seems like they're going to be able to find that Luna Blaster and allow a push here for Anxiety Society.
A bit of a close call there, but they still definitely going down. Twinkie narrowly missing that shot. I guess one of them from the Coyotes here, as they're now going into this first checkpoint. First checkpoint going down without too many contestation here. Tri-Shacks coming out to see if they can try some space, but they weren't thrown that far forward, so they really kind of just ended up whipping a lot of the players here. Now they're already marching that second checkpoint. The dueling sculptures are on the back line, but dueling sculptures aren't necessarily the best weapon at the moment, as they just kind of as you can see here, Anxiety Society is just electing to just like ignore the dueling sculptures in the back line as they just keep pushing this tower forward, already at that third checkpoint.
Already at the third checkpoint here. What an amazing push on the side from Anxiety Society. Finding these opportunities and these balls. No, I love Leviathans just denied, huh? Yes! Just wow, Dark. Halo is going actually crazy.
Oh man, I saw the attempt there, but the Booyah Bomb just absolutely snuffed out that attempt. But in the grand scheme of things, it still ended up. The situation still ended up to where Anxiety Society was pushed back, and this tower is at least slowly moving back to mid. Coyote All-Stars are looking to try and get their own push going into 1-for-1 trade from both sides. Both sides are at an even playing ground right now, but the Tri-Shacks coming out from both sides once again to try and claim some space, but it is still hard to say who will get that first opening push going here.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely see Anxiety Society just kind of turtling up now. I feel like they're pretty happy with their lead and just trying to play things safe. They want to make moves that are just generally the safest play here as well. But generally seems like they're being able to catch out the other members here of Coyote All-Stars as well, and looking for these opportunities to be able to push up here. We see Ship throwing out these strikes here, trying to cause a little bit of chaos here as well. I really like how up this Neo Splash is. Typically you see them hang out just a little bit more, but Chip is out here ready to fight and wins a fight against this S-Ball and looking for a second one here as well.
Ooh, Khan going deep against this ZF charging. Unfortunately, they do go down, but maybe there was enough of a distraction that Coyote also was able to get another push going once again, being forced to back up a little bit. Anxiety Society is just opted to just play it slow and steady. They have such a huge lead over Coyote All-Stars that they can actually play a bit more defensively, give up some points, make sure that they don't actually end up losing a lot in the grand scheme of things here. As we see 1 minute 30 seconds remaining, a beautiful Tri-Shacks gets one pick, 3 players down. Anxiety Society is on the offensive once again.
Yeah, for sure. This is not a situation you want to be if you are Coyotes All-Star. Not at all. Especially since the timer is ticking down and the tower is going to give further push into your spawn here. Meaning, even if you do manage to get a push and be able to get that player, you're going to be waiting for that tower as well. And we definitely see the Zipcaster coming out from the Stamper here, getting a beautiful pick with that Booyah Bomb helping out here. We see another direct here as well. And you can definitely see just how much of a scramble it is for this tower, as both strikes have been used and already being pushed forward, breaking through that third checkpoint here. A few more points remaining. Can they knock out here, Dark?
Yeah, Anxiety Society is definitely going to try and end this game here and now. This is when things are starting to become. This is the point in this map where it becomes really hard to fully and properly recover from. The Splash going in the back line to try and go a long flank around behind Anxiety Society, but unfortunately gets stumped down by a responding member. And now as this tower moves back to mid, 45 seconds remaining in this game, Coyote All-Stars has a bit of a mountain to climb to try and take this game, especially with 7 points remaining. That's a near knockout scenario if they want to win it here, and that you're not going to be in a good position here, especially with your Luna Blaster already down for the count with only 30 seconds remaining.
Yeah, for sure. The Luna Blaster is definitely being kept in check right here is something that's going to stop Coyote's All-Star from being able to do anything as well, because that's one of their main ways to break through is for this Luna Blaster to set up here, as well as Zipcast into the spawn. But you can definitely see the strikes have been used, and they still are struggling to get past mid here as well. They are camping this tower here, ready for any members of Coyotes to hop on here to end the game. You also have the Zipcaster online as well, with Aster slowly watching for a situation here. Oh, wait, 2 members of Coyotes go down here. Azuga gets tossed on tower, but it's still going. It's just the Dooley Sculpture. Oh, man, just... The attempt was there, Dark, just not enough time or resources to be able to sustain that.
Yeah, I think right those last few seconds there, Coyote All-Stars knew what their win condition had to have been, but at the same time, Anxiety Society knew the win condition for Coyote All-Stars, and they did everything they could to try and deny them from that win condition. Even though the attempt was there to try and at least put up a good fight overtime, oh god, my throat is going out here, folks. Anxiety Society, unfortunately, just played it properly and really well at the end and just denied Coyote All-Stars that overtime.
Yeah, for sure. You saw Anxiety Society be able to get some really strong pushes together here as well. And it feels like Anxiety Society is very well disciplined in like the plays and the weapons and the roles that they're fulfilling as well. You definitely see the patience from both Aurora and Twinkie just holding their plat here, ready to catch anything that gets tossed their ways. Meanwhile, with Coyote All-Stars, you see some more non-traditional methods of using the weapons. For example, the Neo Splash, typically something that just hangs back, looking for opportunities to fight and push in as well, putting on a lot of pressure as well. So I'm curious to see if these unconventional methods can be converted into something that can lead to strong pushes, lead to the positions that Coyote All-Stars wants to be able to take, and will that work against a team as disciplined as Anxiety Society?
Yeah, I think the thing I like about some of these like lesser played weapons and these unconventional strategies with some of these lesser played weapons is the fact that sometimes it could be a good thing to try and leverage that knowledge check on like, oh, let's see if you know how to play around this weapon, or let's see if you know how to play around this strategy. Because if you don't know, if your opponent or enemy team doesn't know how to play around it, you can absolutely abuse that in your favor to try and take away a lot of points, or try and take away a lot of momentum and shift things into your favor. The only downside to that is if you have an enemy who doesn't know how to play around it but can actually adapt very quickly, it becomes very apparent that strategy just dies down very fast, and you're just kind of stuck with a subpar weapon, which is why it's not something you typically see too often, but it could still be a very good thing to pull out every here and there.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be starting game number 2. The set is still young. It's going to be Clan Blitz at a museum here. Pardon us, but I see a leader coming out here. One of the best leader maps in the entire game to bust it out here. And it's going to be going up against a long rapid and a pencil. Very, okay. This is very interesting here, Dark.
Yeah, I really don't know how I feel about Coyote's comp here, because it's a bit of a mishmash of a lot of things. You have a lot of chip coming out from Luna, as well as the Rapid Blaster, but you kind of lose out a lot of paint power. And with Clan Blitz, paint power is still just as important as being able to like just apply a lot of pressure here. And we see already Anxiety Society is just able to just going forward, and especially with that E-Leader too, just take away a lot of pressure, a lot of momentum on their favor, as they're already up a good chunk of clams.
Yeah, for sure. You see Aurora being able to take it here. Oh, a beautiful shot here from Twinkie here as well. Looking for an opportunity to score as well. You can definitely see the scramble on the side of Coyotes as well to look for a way to stop the bleeding here. And they do manage to have a good enough defense to prevent any more clams from happening here. It's a matter of getting rid of this leader that is going to be so oppressive on top of this middle spinner.
Yeah, there really isn't a lot from Coyote All-Stars' side to try and counteract that E-Leader. And unfortunate, once again, we see another disconnect from Coyote All-Stars. That's not what you want to see.
Okay, wait. The voices in... Yeah, I'm not sure if this was the same team that DC, but if it is, right, the voices in my head just said that that's not eligible for a replay. That's against the rules if it is the same team that DC'd there, Dark.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure It was Anxiety Society the last time, but I know for a fact, I know this much that that because that replay, at least allegedly, if it was on the side of Anxiety Society, because that replay has already been used on the first game, they are not allowed to replay again here. So that room reset is not a legal thing to do, and I don't know what is going to be happening here on out, folks.
Yeah, for sure. As we sort out the situation here, let's go back to my favorite activity, looking at these team names here, right? Because I saw one, Dark. I saw one that specifically hit home for me, at least for some of those college students here. You know, I like talking with a lot of CCA players, right? And this one speaks heart. Was it straight to the heart here? Are you ready to hear this?
Yeah, go on.
All right. Rent is somewhat important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rent is due every end of the month, and it's something we all struggle with. And you know what? The fact that they acknowledge that it's somewhat important to get, I gotta give my flowers there.
I want to know what the average age of that team is, because I feel like those are not high schoolers, surely, right? You can't be a high schooler and have a name like that.
Unless you are living the dream, as they so call it here. But
Yeah.
You know what? Let's see what can be done here about the situation as well. But I gotta talk a little bit more. Okay, cool. Okay, we got an update here. Voices in my head said it's going to be replay here because it was different teams essentially that DC'd as well. So they are going to be able to replay it here. Same weapons and all, unless there's some substitutions here as well. But I'm definitely going to keep an eye out on that E-Leader there, Dark, because E-Leader is so strong when it's set up. It hits so many shots, provides so much pressure. And as long as it's not dealt with, you can just kind of run away with the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, what I was gonna say right before the disconnect happened was that E-Leader is such an oppressive force that it's really up to I forget, was the E-Leader on the E-Leader was on Anxiety Society, right?
Yes, it was Anxiety Society.
So it is up to the Luna Blaster from Coyote All-Stars, as well as the 10 attack from Coyote All-Stars as well, using those triple ink strikes to try and apply pressure to that E-Leader. Because if you don't apply to that E-Leader, it's good. They're going to be able to take away a lot of space, apply a lot of pressure from just sitting in mid, to the point where playing on your own spinner, on your own side of the map, is going to be a very tricky thing to do. So those two weapons are really going to have to put in a lot of heavy duty work to try and counteract the E-Leader if they want to, if Coyote All-Stars want to be a bit more successful in these incoming pushes.
Yeah, for sure. And something I've noticed with Coyote's Club is there's two blasters. There's a long rapid blaster, Deco, and a vanilla Luna Blaster. And what we said, the Luna Blaster is probably going to be trying to displace the leader here with Zipcaster, or using its bomb, or just hitting under ledges, just whatever it can do. I feel like the long rapid can also get some good shots, especially if it gets close enough and just is able to poke around corners as well. That can definitely be very useful as well. However, as you alluded to, I believe, when the set was starting there as well, was they're a little strapped for paint, right? Yes, you have a T-Tech, you do have a Snipe Rider, right? But you're very clunky to move around with, because you mentioned to yourself that like you play blasters, you've seen in how blaster players play, you're always kind of just like stuck in that little end lag every time you fire a shot as well. So you have to make sure those shots count and be able to move around effectively. Otherwise, it feels like it might just be very difficult for you to get in anywhere.
Yeah, with a comp that like what Coyote All-Stars has played so far in the second game, with the Rack Blaster, the Luna Blaster, the T-Tech, and the Pencil, it's really up to the Pencil and the T-Tech to try and paint as much as they can, not really necessarily looking to do a lot of chip damage or take a lot of fights, at least in the chip damage for the Pencil, and take a lot of fights in terms of the T-Tech. You really, because those blasters need the paint, need the movement in the area to move around with to properly do their jobs, it's up to the other two weapons to play support. And the same thing kind of goes with Rapid, but even though Rapid has that extra range to play around with, so they have a little bit more wiggle room that they don't really necessarily need a ton of more play that unlike something like the Luna Blaster does. It's still vital for those two weapons here, and seeing the lack of paint on Coyote All-Stars is kind of a concern of mine.
Yeah, for sure. It's a concern that is very valid, especially with just how volatile this game is, and you do need paint to be able to swim to that clam basket as well. So here we go, the replay here. Hopefully all the DCs are out of the way, our anxieties are kept in check here. No more sharks biting those cables underneath the water as well. And let's see what these teams can bring out here.
Breakaway once again. We see exactly how these teams want to try and push this game. This is the second time around. Anxiety Society playing it slow and steady, turtling up on their side of the map to try and goad one player in to get a pick, and that they do. The Raptor Lasher goes down, and immediately Anxiety Society goes in on the move. Coyote All-Stars, unfortunately for them, are able to take 2 in return, and this game is still a bit of a stalemate before Twinkie gets a beautiful snipe against Ship.
Oh my goodness. I gotta give it to our lovely producer, Angie, just catching all these beautiful E-liter shots here as well. Because every time you hear an E-liter shot, you feel that impact. You hear that full one shot that just gives that momentum and the energy that allows the players to be able to keep this up here already. I see a Wavebreaker get tossed as well. They do have the clamps. It's just a matter of getting past this spinner here, Dark.
Yeah, this spinner here is definitely a bit of a tricky thing to do to try and push past here, but Twinkie with the Eater is definitely going to leverage some of that pressure from Coyote All-Stars, as they're able to get a lot of range. There's a lot of presence and power on their side. That Coyote All-Stars, you're seeing it. Coyote All-Stars is not wanting to actually fully commit to pushing up into spinner, and now because of that lack of pressure, their Coyote All-Stars is unfortunately losing 1-1. Anxiety Society is able to potentially be in a position here, but no, we see that Anxiety Society is forced back a bit as Coyote All-Stars try and go around and take mid.
Yeah, for sure. This is a little bit of a different pace here, because you usually see Coyotes as the one on the back foot playing an incredible defense, but now they're the ones getting this momentum here. They have a power clamp form, and Alex is going to try and see what they can do here to be able to push forward here, but that crab going to prevent them from moving up here. Such a beautifully timed crab here for this defense as well. It's just a matter of trying to live through it, which they do manage to do, but how can they proceed and go further, Dark?
It's a bit unclear right now. 2 minutes into this game, you know, there has been a few decent momentum shifts from either side. No one has scored yet, and it is now going to be a hard time to see exactly if Anxiety Society can try and push themselves to score once again here, or will Coyote All-Stars push back once like they did it the last time and try and solve them out here. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Crafting did go out on top of the Ice Strikes. Ink Strikes from Coyote All-Stars means that they're just stuck on a stalemate once again.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like this stalemate is just caused because of Coyote's weapons are just so, how do I say it, really good at defending here. Because anytime you try to move forward around that spinner here, you're going to get blasted by a blaster. You're going to get picked off by a pencil. You're going to get bombed by a shot here as well. But hey, a trade might be something that they're looking for here as well. And this little blaster is going to try and hold on here. Another trade here. Going to try and fight Aurora once again here. Sunday is putting in work here. Does have that zip caster. Going to be able to go for it on that crab here as well. Looking around a way to snake their way back here, but not going to be able to find anything here.
Yeah, I mean, Socials are being committed from both sides. Both teams are getting back and forth picks here, but still, Anxiety Society are actually so struggling to actually break through. Finally, with 3 down, not only did they break through, they hit hard and they fit fast. 39 points remaining on their side. The Coyote All-Stars are scrambling to try and reconvene. 2 down from Anxiety Society. It means that Coyote All-Stars has successfully warded off the push here, but the damage has been there. 39 points remaining, 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. Coyote All-Stars have been stuck on this side of the map for the majority of this game. It's going to be hard to try and push back all this pressure that Anxiety Society has been giving.
Yeah, for sure. It just seems like Coyotes just really struggle getting back to mid. That's why it was pointing out that last push there when they were back in mid. It was a really big deal because you can definitely see just how well the positioning is and how well this E-liter being set up here just allows Coyotes just not any entryway into mid here. But hey, they do manage to move that leader. Now is the time to make an act here, especially with 1 minute remaining. But no, the leader coming from way downtown has to shut you down and find a way back onto the cozy little habitat, as I like to call it.
And with another pick here, Twinkie is just proving why this E-liter can be so useful, so impressive here. Coyote All-Stars has not been able to get out of their side of the map for the majority of this game. Finally be able to do it here with only 30 seconds remaining. If they do manage to get to this power plant basket before overtime is called and before the match is over, they have to hit so much harder than Anxiety Society has already hit. And with 2 seconds remaining, one player down from Coyote All-Stars, that seems like a hard task for them to do.
Yeah, for sure. It's now or never here. The pressure is on, but pressure is how you able to make certain things happen here as well. It's just very difficult, especially when you're not winning these fights here. You see 2 specials get tossed out. Alex is forced to take into that fight with all those members here. You see Twinkie still holding up in mid here. It's just 2 members here, just the back lines. They're going to be a little tough and clunky to move around with here, but they have to go now. It is overtime. You gotta get going, but that stamper right to the face here. You see Alex go for the basket here, but there's just not enough time here, Dark.
Yeah, I mean, what could be said about this game other than just Anxiety Society just either just proving to be so oppressive here that Coyote All-Stars was forced to just simply just play on their side of the map, try to pick everyone else that might be pushing up here, but even in the case and scenario that they do get a pick or 2 whenever they try to move up here, we see that Twinkie from Anxiety Society, the E-leader player, just goes and shuts down any push with just a beautiful slide or just making them so scared that they don't want to try and contest it and just kind of stall them out for the majority of that game.
Yeah, for sure. It was just a huge stall fest. It was just very difficult to get anything done here as well. I feel like when Coyotes got into mid, they were able to get some pretty decent picks as well as live through a lot of the specials that was being tossed their way as well. The fact was, it was just very difficult to contest all the weapons. Just all the weapons on the side of Anxiety Society, well, cause anxiety. Are you going to get sniped? Are you going to get stamper played? Are you going to get crab take? Are you going to get directed by this S-boss? A lot of one-shot potential that just makes it so difficult to be able to go through as well, and that's what gave Anxiety Society the leg up there.
Oh, absolutely. But man, oh man, what a time that was. And according to the producers and the runners of this game, since the round is over and it is a 2-0, they're just going to make it a 3-0 call it a day so we can move on to the remainder of our day. So unfortunately, we will not be seeing this last match here. Soavdannom make a mark, but man, oh man, both of these 2 teams did an extraordinarily well job today, despite some of the earlier technical issues we see.
Yeah, for sure. It's really unfortunate that it had to go around with this, especially with the format of Sendo as well as the timing of blowing here. But you know what? It happens. You have to move on, keep going. There's still more rounds of Swiss here. We do have our second half commentators coming in here. We have Drumar and Sov going to be ending off the first day of blowing coming up here as well. But Dark, is there anything you want to talk about regarding these brackets here? Is there anything that's standing out to you?
I mean, there really isn't much to say. It's hard to say exactly what this tournament might, the rest of this group stage is going to go on, since we only seen a small fraction of these games here. But man, oh man, there's still more action coming to you guys in just a second, though. So as we're wrapping up here, Neptune, plug yourself as we close things out.
You can find me at Neptune-TV at Blue Sky, as well as me losing my mind at the producer's side for CCA. We are having our Crossfire event tomorrow, by the way, so don't forget to watch that. We put that alongside Low Egg here. But Dark, where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on most social media website at SPF Dark, but you will also hear me time and time again across the multiple organizations here we have in the community, either your IPL, Splatoon Attorney, Dapple Productions, Under Pressure, CCA. I am literally all over the place on a weekly basis at the very least, but I will also be at Crossfire tomorrow as well for CCA, so come check that out if you have the chance. But that being said and done, we're wrapping up here. Our next block is coming up in just a second, so don't go anywhere just yet. Stay tuned as we come back after this break.
Yep.
Welcome in, everybody. It is the back half of the day here at IPL. It's been a long day of Swiss, but Low Ink continues to go on. I am Soavdannom here with Drew Martin. Drew, I mean, we've been watching from the back lines, but how do you feel about the overall competition so far? Give me a little something for people who maybe are catching in late.
Well, Loic has so many strong teams ranging from so many different either divisions or skill levels. Competition's been pretty hot so far, and we're getting into amazing round 4 match. We got TeaTime and, of course, the iconic, the Whiprays. I am so excited to be starting off with the Whiprays. I mean, we're eating good, so we're eating really good.
Yeah, we were talking about a little before coming on that, you know, like the teams that are still like fighting in Low Ink, there are so many still memorable names in the Whiprays in particular. If you don't know them, like I'm not really ingrained in the scene, but even I know the Whiprays, so like that tells you something about them. But their opponents, TeaTime, are also like no joke in a lot of ways too. They're a squad that have been playing together a while, and they seem to have it all together. So, you know, it's going to be another step towards getting yourself kicked out of Low Ink.
Yeah, totally. It's going to be really exciting to see what both these teams have to show for it. And it looks like we're starting off on Rainmaker on Humpback. So, pretty interesting round 1, I guess. You don't really see round 1, like the first match, start with Rainmaker.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You'd be like, oh yeah, we're going to start with zones. Pretty beautiful stuff. But there's no zones in round 4.
I say those are quite a few. Unfortunately, we won't see zones for us on stream, but Humpback is one of those odd ones, right? Like, it's been around since 2. We've all kind of seen it and played it a million times, but I think the strats have kind of adjusted now that we have the mandatory points. So I do think just kind of on paper, the Whiprays maybe have a little bit more of an edge just simply for the length they've played together, the kind of time they've put into this. But I don't know that we have a toss-up immediately until we really get to see what everybody brings in.
Yeah, Humpback is definitely a map that it can go to either the checkpoints or we can get a KO within 30 seconds. So It's going to be really interesting to see how this match decides to go. And it looks like we are finally getting started. We get to see the comps and everything. What is the Whipray starting to cook up? We see a Wellstring. Alright, so it looks like, most likely Whiprays are going to get the pop here. But also seeing the Dreadringer on the side of TeaTime from Phobos. Really interesting different comps here.
They say the Whiprays comp is a lot faster, like you said. It's a lot more, just a lot paint. You can see the brush will get into the back. The Wellstring puts down a lot of damage, but Sire's not going to have... I'm sorry, the Sire's going to have to go back to spawn. Phobos has got that with that Dreadringer, like you had said. So space control does favor TeaTime here, and even though the pop went the way of the Whiprays, they'll get the first move.
Yeah, and it looks like they have very good control of mid Phobos with that Reef Slider going down to jump out, and it looks like they're not able to get the check yet as 2 go down on each side, and it looks like Phobos actually might be going for the pop, and they are going to, but they're not going to be able to grab. Are they going to be able to get the checkpoint?
I mean, that was a quick take. You had called it out. This is potentially to be quick. They'll even give the bubble in to kind of make sure they can get the second pop. But TeaTime going in with no specials into this are kind of playing down. Dreadringer eats it, so the one special they did have is gone. And I think that's kind of their advantage here.
Yeah, and it looks like all the specials are coming out from the Whiprays. 2 go down on the side of TeaTime. We see Nate right there in that corner, and Sire with that Ink Brush. Just pushing up a bit more, seeing what they can get going, and ooh. Did they get that? No, it looks like they jumped out.
They did get out of the way, but for the side of the Whiprays, they'll get the nice, easy in. Now it just becomes to making sure they can get full advantage of it. Another quick pop goes away. Triple strikes are up, and they're just going to get run right down. Again, like you said, we get to those first ones, but now is where the real game begins, because it's going to be that tough push to the second point.
Yeah, but they were able to get the lead, and it looks like they're going to go even further, all the way to 30 forward, but it looks like TeaTime is finally going to get the stop here.
Well, for now, TeaTime still has a lot to go with 3 minutes. They have pulled back with the Rainmaker, so they have to play a little bit defensively. Hammer just misses a little bit wide, but again, it's going to be a slow push. They're down 2. They might even just try to hold this off, especially because there is no cooler on their side. They can't afford to go anywhere.
Yeah, they're having to back up all the way back there to the Whale keeping them all the way back, especially in those ink strikes and those splat bombs, just putting so much pressure back there. We see Nate with that Ultra Slam. Is they're going to be able to get a pick? No, they're not. But Syrup finally drops down with that Rainmaker to get into a bit of mid.
Finally get the push onto mid, and it looks like they'll have the team to push forward. It is a very close unit, though. Like, they're playing all together, and that's what happens. The bubble came down too late, and they'll get punished for it. So Whiprays are going to get the stop, and they did manage to get the stop in time. That is so much more important. That one single point is going to make a difference, because 2 minutes is left on the clock, and that's not a lot of time. That's maybe a push or two, depending on how quick these go.
Yeah, and we do see with that Kraken's going to stop right there. Are they going to be able to pick the head hit? No, they're not going to yet. But they're still struggling a bit in this corner, but they're going to get taken out by that head hit. Very strong pick right there.
It's going to be a start anyways, but with the cooler up, TeaTime has a little bit of an advantage here, but they have to get a pick to open this up. 140 and pushing forward. It's going to be the re-slider in, gets nobody, and immediately the punish on 2 means that this push is done.
Yeah, we do see the bubble getting popped right there from the ink strikes, and Static is just going to put it back in mid, where they can wait it out at least a little bit more, one down on each side. Kind of getting into a bit of a neutral state a bit. Both teams are kind of just playing around each other, seeing what they can get away with, but we do see Bonnie getting a pick right there, but getting picked off immediately right after by Sire.
That's at least something. Last minute coming up now, and again, now they have control for the Whiprays, so it just becomes, do they have any ink control? And you can see it, there's still a lot of blue for TeaTime. They're trying to deny those main passages off, and that, that's a good slider to deny that.
Yeah, very good slider by Phobos right there.
45 seconds now, and with TeaTime coming into control, I mean, they have to make this push. They're one shy, but going down 3-1, and the Whiprays can kind of just sit back here in the last 30 seconds. There's still time for a push, but TeaTime need some opening pick values. There's no time to sit and sip the tea. We got to go forward now.
Yeah,
what a shot.
With the shot in the corner, getting that picked up, just pausing TeaTime's push at least a little bit more. Are they going to be able to get another one on the shot? Yes, they are.
Yeah. That's huge. I mean, Whiprays don't even need to touch this. It's 10 seconds. If they just sit and play a little bit more defensively, like, they can just lure them right into the trap. The Wellstringer is there. It's able to put a little bit of pressure down. Sire's there to clean it up, and Whiprays clean it up for round 1.
Yeah, that was a very good defense by Whiprays. Just having Cube go around that far side and maybe get a pick, just pause any amount of push that they need, and they narrowly sneak out of game 1 with a win.
It was narrow, but I do think that the uniqueness of their comp kind of did lead their way a bit. Like, you'd called it out, the Wellstring is kind of an abnormal pick. Obviously, it's a little bit particular for the Whiprays, but it does kind of lead to this very aggressive comp between the brush that was working in their way. They want to take the space by getting into it and kind of getting in your face and then putting down so much ink that you can't even respond to it. So that was a good space, a good way for them to control that. Game 1, well deserved for the Whiprays.
Yeah, and it looks like we're going now to game 2 is going to be Tower on Nakomart. Pretty normal.
Yeah.
Map that you will actually see in pretty much any tournament you play.
Yeah. This is like a pretty standard one. Like, the one thing it does kind of, I think, do for these teams is it puts a little more pressure onto the back line now, because you can't necessarily run, something as far as like a Hydra or any sort of those big far backline snipers. But I do think it gives, like, if you have a pencil player, it gives them a chance to shine. So I am curious to see how these players are going to go about the Mako Mart experience when you look at how you have to control this cart cutting across such that high ground like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be really interesting. I feel like we're going to be seeing... I know we had Phobos on Dreadringer, so I can see Phobos running the Dreadringer again. Slashers are very strong on this map, just being able to get under ledges and stuff like that. I can see some Stamper or Splatoon gameplay too as well, just peek under ledges. Bonnie's roller could work very well. But I guess we're just going to have to see what we got going.
Yeah, like I said, the changes to... Okay, yeah, Splat Lane coming in makes sense from Nate. That I do like a lot. There's the pencil I was kind of looking for, and that makes a lot of sense for your TeaTime kind of playing into a little bit of the meta. But the Whiprays, like I said, I like that. They make their own way around this, and I do think their comp works in a lot of ways. There's so many different ways to control space and just set up each other for success that I think they might be able to kind of, that's how they're surviving without. They're winning on information as opposed to just winning by kind of running it down.
Yeah, Whiprays have been running coolerless, I just noticed. I'm going to see Phobos with that damper, as well as Bonnie switching to a carbon deca. So this is really interesting. A bit of a switch up from TeaTime, but not necessarily a bad one. Very strong weapon for this match.
Oh yeah, agreed. I think that's probably one of their stronger choices they could have made for it, but all things considered, like I said, it's going to come down to this slow-moving tower, and considering these fights have not been very... we're still fighting at mid. There's not been a decisive win yet on these first fights.
We see Bonnie backing up a bit. Cube worked down on the side of TeaTime. We see Cube with the crack and hitting that pick on Phobos like they're very strong right there. And it looks like Whiprays might start their first push.
Push is coming in. It's going to come in with that, and that, like you said, it is going to get there, but the checkpoint 1 is coming through. It costs a couple of those specials and as a trade out, but with the blaster now in the under position, it should make it a little bit easier to maybe push this out. Triple Ink Strike is going to come in as well, just to make sure they can clear this difficult turn.
Yeah, they are barely able to take the lead by 3 points right there, but if you see Bonnie going in for a bit of a shark, seeing if they can pick Cube, no, but Cube pops the crack in. They're not going to be able to get that pick yet.
So that is a rough spot. It was a bold play, but it needed to be made there if there was even a chance to kind of shut that down. 60 to 68 is that magic number right now with 3 minutes, and I mean, Cuber is just unfortunately kind of losing and just getting harassed on that blaster. Usually the blaster becomes one of your most important weapons to really control the high grounds, and considering Cube just hasn't been able to do anything this game, I think that's a big thing to watch out for.
Yeah, definitely. We're just having a bit of mid-skirmish right now. Only 8 points separating for the lead, and we do see Bonnie taking the tower now. Are they going to be able to take the lead back? And they will.
That does also give them the chance to move into position. Triple Ink Strike getting used just to try to clear off the point now. And, I mean, the tower does grind to a halt at 40, but that's still pretty good. Didn't quite make it to that second checkpoint, so there's still very, very much a chance to come back.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Whiprays are going to be regrouping a bit now, but one of them goes down. Nate on that heavy is going to go down. But we do see Sire a bit. Starting with that ink brush. Gonna have to back up, packs up right into Bonnie's carbon. Unfortunate right there. Bonnie is able to take that plat for the side of TeaTime as well.
But for how long? We're going to give up so many specials here for the side of TeaTime just to make sure we can try to keep the pressure on the side and kind of move it into the enemy territory. And like, we gave up so much just to maybe trade specials. I'm not crazy about that, Drew. That was a bit of an investment for no real gain.
Yeah, really. It looks like 2 specials charged for the side of TeaTime. We have the strikes ready for Whiprays as well. We do see Static getting picked off a bit in that corner by the pencil, but they're gonna strike them right now. Seeing if they can get an in, and I don't know if they're going to be able to. Nate does pop a wave breaker behind their stack.
But like, the wave breaker, I feel like is like that's been so necessary, because considering how much the backline for the side of Whiprays just constantly has been getting harassed, and how much you're trying just to deny Phobos any room to really do anything, you kind of have to play it safe. You can't afford it getting popped, because Phobos has been kind of moving. You can see it. They are putting the pressure out, and they are sending those shots into where they need to be to keep the distractions going.
And we see Phobos just sending random charge slashes anywhere, seeing if they can get anything, but they're apparently not going to be able to. And Whiprays is trying to mount a push of their own. Finally, 2 go down on the side of TeaTime. The Archers are going to have to jump out as well. But Cuba, why did I think Cuba's about to go over the ledge right there?
Whiprays are running it back, 50 and counting. Triple Strike buys a little bit more of the space. They clear it. No, they lose it right on 40. There's still a chance because there's no penalty, though, but there's no numbers to follow it up, and Phobos is maintaining that high ground to really deny this space. So there's still one last shot here for the Whiprays, but they have to make it count.
You see Phobos with that Zipcaster, seeing if they can get a pick. No, not looking likely yet. I don't think they're going to be able to get it as 3 go down on the side of Whiprays.
going to be all she wrote there. In the nick of time, actually in a similar mirror to game 1 there, it goes the way of TeaTime. So we have got a match on our hands, Drew. This is going to be a close one all the way down to the wire.
Oh yeah, definitely. Both these games ending between 1 point of each other, and now we're in a game 3. What more can you ask for?
This is that point of like low ink, right? This is the point where teams start to separate out. We haven't quite made the cuts, but we're starting to see the balance of these teams kind of, bring it closer together, where now every sub game matters, considering it's been play all 3 for the most part. Like, this is that point where you kind of breathe a sigh of relief, because even if it was just by 1, you kind of get the chance, you get a minute to breathe and kind of say, okay, we survived now, let's see what's coming next. And thankfully we do know what is coming next.
Yeah, we got, what was that, Clamblitz?
Clamblitz on Barnacle and Dime.
Okay. Alright, this is a pretty normal Clamblitz map that you will see a lot as well.
Yeah,
I don't love it.
I
don't hate it, but I don't love it. Kind of just tolerate it, but...
I mean, to be fair though, it is one of the newer maps from Splatoon 3. I say newer, like the game has been out for forever.
It hasn't been out for like 2 years.
Yeah, like as if we aren't just playing in, but like it's newer in the sense that like we aren't just replaying a map from 2 that everybody already knows. So there is still a little bit of like freshness, where it's not like the memories and like the muscle memory is kind of ingrained. So this is, I do think, one of those maps where like maybe if you really grinded some of the maps, like this isn't a game where I would say there's a lot of like preferred maps, or like like map really makes too much of a difference for a lot of teams and a lot of players. But this is like one of those cases where maybe you could make that case.
Yeah, definitely. Some of the Splatoon 3 maps are kind of just okay.
Yeah,
it's like some of them are really good. It's like you got Ramen. Like there's like nothing, no notes for Ramen.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Almost like the perfect map for this game. And then there's like Undertow.
Yeah, sorry. I was saying the correct answer you were looking for was Undertow, because I know it doesn't matter how many times. It doesn't matter how many times we were.
Someone's gonna be like, "How can you hate Undertow? Undertow's the best map." I'm just like, I can't.
It is perfect. I have no complaints. It's perfectly a fine map, but it is a difficult map to play in. It is not an easy one, but yeah. But so it's not. I get it.
It's like, all right, you have your own opinions, but we're going into game 3. I am so excited to see what we got here.
Yeah, let's see the exciting conclusion. No real changes coming in from this side of the Whiprays. TeaTime approximately the same as well. And considering this is Clamblitz, interesting. Like we're not seeing a lot of the usual strats that you kind of usually see to get into it. There's no bubbles. The Kraken is the closest kind of like set play mechanic that you really see.
Yeah, but they even tapped out Kraken cheesing.
Yeah,
so you can't really even do it anymore. But one thing I'm noticing, Whiprays did have a bit of a comp change. We have Styre on Octopus with Bow, and we have Static on E-Splash now. So they have that crab to be able to get some pressure and maybe get in, and as well as the Inkling as well. But let's just see what each of these teams are going to be cooking up. The DC Phobos with that Slipcaster not going to be taken out yet, and they're going to recall back.
I will say Phobos has actually been very impressive to me in regards to the backline harasser, the kind of like flanker harasser spot. I really do have to say they've just been struggling to kind of get any real value off of it, but they've been doing their job so well that that's part of why TeaTime has been finding the success, is that Phobos has just been a nuisance in the backline. Bonnie also trying to make a case for that as well, but unfortunately just getting punished means that TeaTime is kind of on hold for now.
Yeah, and it looks like Whiprays are starting to push up, have a push of their own now. But Cube does go down on that Range Blaster, but it looks like TeaTime is able to hold out.
They survived it and they kept the clam, which is the most important thing they could do, is hold on to that power clam, considering the economy just does favor them. Nate is trying to go in and gather it, but they just aren't really getting a lot of it. Look at how deep Phobos is. Phobos is just in there making sure that like everybody is trying so hard to just carry out the distraction for that. I respect it.
Yeah, so cats are such a distraction. It's not even like a special need to control. Just need to just be annoying. And Phobos is doing that incredibly well, but it looks like TeaTime might finally have a push of their own there, so Tri-Strike to get in, and it looks like they're going to be able to score and get the first score of the game.
Syrup in for 2? Yes. big.
Is that a third? Wow.
That was they were able to grab it back. I mean, they spent most of their specials just to get the space in, but it was the right call considering that triple strike was the only real tool they had for it, and they really didn't lose much space behind it. They're still holding kind of forward of mid, so TeaTime looking fairly dominant here. They just need to keep picks up and keep pressure up, and then they can, kind of roll on this.
Yeah, it looks like they're still holding pretty good pressure right now. We do see Fire in that corner and might try to go for a flank. But it looks like they're going to, and they're going to be able to pick up the Aqua Shot, but they're going to go down as well. So they get the trade there. So that does give a bit of time for maybe Whiprays to get something going for Bonnie. Starting under there, trying to get a pick, but not going to be able to. That's a get.
Gave it up a little too soon. Static going to send in the crab as well, in addition to the... I don't like that. That's going to get met immediately by a triple strike. Has to roll out of the way, and the space or any value you might have gotten from those ults is just gone. And Phobos is going to go deep again. Just try to make break ankles and turn heads. But at 150 left on the clock, I don't like. You're just fighting for space control at this point, and it's not going your way.
Yeah, we do see Sire trying to make a play, not being able to, having to back up there. Whiprays just not able to get a solid 1 or 2 picks to be able to get a push in. TeaTime is just playing such good defense whenever they need to. Every time Whiprays pops a special, TeaTime pops 1 or 2 more just to stop their push, and it's just such good. I would say, I don't know if I say back and forth, but it looks like Whiprays finally have something going here. They were able to get 3 down. Are they going to be able to get a push in? Static's one of those players. Oh.
No, not enough for a clam. It's only 9, and they couldn't pass him along well enough. But Cuber really just trying to maintain control of these high grounds. They have the space, but they don't have the clams here, Drew. So this is kind of almost a tough push because they're just now getting to the point where they have a clam online.
Yeah, as you see Nate finally with that clam that they need, the Phobos able to get the picks that they need as well. 2 went down on the side of Whiprays, and it's only Nate and Cuber on the front lines.
Last 30 seconds, at least with 1 clam up, the Whiprays can kind of, stall the game out. They can force the overtime. It's going to be the Kraken in now just to see if maybe they can buy the rest of that space. Doesn't really clear off enough. No picks, and Cuber's in no man's land. That is a rough spot to be in. Manages to get out, but it's the last 15 seconds. They have 2 picks. They have to go now.
They have to go now, and they're able to finally score. I think they'll be able to get any more in Static with a whole bunch of clams ready, but they have the power.
Nate's ready.
Ready? Oh my god. Snake gonna get it.
No. That's unfortunate. I don't know that the clam would have been enough anyways, but
I think they would have been like
1 or 2 off. Yeah.
I think 1 would have tied, and then 2 would have. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very close game, though. Again, kind of as expected. The score not quite lining up to that, but really it came down to that. Like you called out, the Whiprays just kind of never really got control of the space they needed. It seems like anytime they had something to push with, TeaTime met them right back and just said, all right, we've got your answer right here. We're ready to hold you off on what we've got, or we've got someone in the back line just absolutely there to distract you and just negate any value you could have had out of that. So incredibly well done from TeaTime, a well-deserved 2-1 going into these Swiss rounds.
Yeah, that was very exciting set for our round 4, and we will eventually be going to round 5. Have no idea about anything regarding round 5. Got no tea.
Yeah, well, we'll figure. We'll give the players a minute to, and the rest of the teams a chance to finish it all out. But we'll jump back in when we've got a little more information in just a few minutes. Hang tight, grab a sip of water, and come back because there's plenty more low ink here in just a moment.
Hello and welcome back to Low Inc. May 2025. We are back with round 5 here, and we have two amazing teams for you. We got the Ink Phantoms versus the After School Sweets Club.
Both sitting at a nice 3-1, both fighting in at 4, trying to get into that alpha bracket segment tomorrow. But considering both of these teams have been doing so well, we were kind of talking about this is probably going to be a bit of a toss up here. The Ink Phantoms come in as the slightly higher seed in like the 20s, but After School Sweets Club seem like they've gotten kind of their main 4 in. It looks like the last couple rounds have been very strong 3-0s, so they're looking like they're on a bit of a roll to keep this going.
Yeah, and it looks like we're starting with round 1 being zones on ship shape. Usually you see ship shape on tower, but I feel like a lot of tournaments have been having it on zones pretty recently.
Look, we gotta. What year of Splatoon 3 are we in now? We have to keep it interesting. We gotta keep it.
I guess
We gotta keep
3.
players going. Like, look, you want look if you don't. Like you said though, it is new. So if you haven't been screaming this, if you haven't been playing it, or haven't been even considering it, you might be a little bit lost. So I guess this will be a nice check to kind of see who has been really utilizing the full depths of the map pool, because it's zones. Like, we all understand how zones plays, but you shouldn't like that shouldn't be the only reason just because the map changes.
Yeah, it looks like we're starting off. We see a Dapples on one of the two and a Tetras. We have double dualies here.
All right. I love this aggressive front line. I love the quick moving front lines here. Particularly interesting. Rain as a double wave breaker for one side. But the wave breaker is there. You can get control of it on this map in particular with one of those. So I'm not shocked, but I do think those might be a little specialized to the map, and I love that.
Yeah, and we just see the Dapples go down. Skitty able to get a pick right there. They have the triple splashdown come in and the roof slider right after it. This is just chaos in mid right now. Everything is happening once. Everyone is popping everything. And Leviathan is just in a corner and getting pincered right there. And it looks like the zone is going to go for Ink Phantoms.
Phantoms just managed to keep a little bit more, winning a lot more of those battles and dodging a lot more of those specials. So now with the space advantage up, I love this. They're forcing out the specials before they even get to use zones, so great space control from the Phantoms here.
Yeah, we have Value coming up on this other side. Seeing if they get a pick on Waluigi right there with that Brenner, going to be able to get some support from their teammate as well. And After School Sweep Club is going to be holding the zone. We do see Sugi on that pencil, putting as much pressure as they can on that left side, seeing if anyone drops over there. And this just... everything is just going on at once. There's like no time to breathe.
Yeah, no, this is a very high pressure game, and even in regards to just what we're sending when, like that triple splashdown was maybe a little late, but I like the idea of just maybe catching somebody out. There hasn't been time to breathe, and considering we are at 53 Phantoms, 67 After School, it's still fairly close. The first set of sodas go to the After School, so they might have the advantage even with down 2.
And this is pretty shocking right here. Seeing if they get a pick right there, and they will be able to go down on the side of After School. Skitty grabs that cooler. Absolutely necessary, but we do see a strike ready, and it's going to be popped by Jousty right there. And are they going to be able to get a push out of it? Maybe. And we got Leafyo with the splashdown. Not going to be able to get someone there, but 2 go down eventually from other picks. Is After School Sweet Stuff's going to be able to take the zone yet? And they're going to put it in neutral. And if that is a wipeout.
I desperately needed it in time. 4 was that ending number, now 64 with the 64 penalty. I mean, the Phantoms have just been absolutely denying any sort of space. They're not giving them any room to breathe, and just trying so hard to deny those sightlines. They're getting specials out, and that aggressive play is really giving success. That is a denial of that special, though, and that is huge.
Yeah, that is a much-needed denial from that Dapple right there. I'm just now realizing Ink Phantoms is running double Reslider.
Yep, they're on double Reslider.
Why did I just... took me like half the match to realize that. Wow.
Because you really haven't seen them at the same time. They've just been so sporadic that you've kind of been... They're not being used to cover, the zone like we're really used to. They're just used to kind of corral the rest of the teams into where they want to be. It has gone the way of Ink Phantoms, but the control's gone. There's one. Waluigi sends it in, but Value sending one of their own, gets the run over and gets it there. But they managed to live too. And like you said, this is just very chaotic with all this movement.
Yeah, it's just constant group sliders. Both teams, there's 3 total in this match. And we got another one right there from Blade. Lucio was able to survive it though. There's so much bombardment from Ink Phantom trying to push in. Great pick right there. And it looks like After School Threesome is going to boost all this penalty and try to lower this as much as they can.
Yeah, they tried to take the space there. Leafgun got punished for getting a little too deep and trying to control that high ground. So they need to win out these fights, these 1v1s, if they want to hold this out. Cooler is on point. It's 15 and counting. No.
After School Threesome is able to hold the zone right now, maybe for a bit, but it's going to go into neutral. Skitty from behind, going to get a pick on one.
Oh, beautiful.
Pick off Skitty on Sugi as well.
Huge, beautiful 2 out of 3 from Skitty there. That's what you need out of your frontline Slayer, is just to make sure you can hit those shots. And Skitty has been performing incredibly well in this in this first round, so kudos to them. They have so much to burn through, and it's 45 seconds. This might come down to the overtime.
Well played. We got a refire. We got tri-strike coming. We got Skitty trying to see what they can get out of the Leviathans. Going to pop Splashdown, and that's going to be 2 down. 3 down on the side of Ink Phantoms. And After School Treat School just has to hold on for a little bit longer. Not going to be is going to be able to finally get the pick on Blade, not just right from the jump. Leviathan with that knowledge, no Splashdown yet. Trying to get a pick there, not going to be able to. Value, get some value out of that Reflighter.
10 seconds, 2v1 on the point. Bleed, the only one there. The jump-ins are coming in, and it's neutral, so it looks like there'll be some chance. Reef Slider's there? No.
Oh. This is going to be very close. We have Waluigi right there. Can I get picks off as well? Skitty with Bazooka for a miracle.
No.
Not to be able to.
That was the one special you need, like, you didn't want to show up right there. That's such unfortunate timing for Skitty. Like, you needed it for the pick value, but when it at that point you needed a Reef Slider instead, so that's just so unfortunate of timing. A very, very good back and forth game from both. The Ink Phantoms, though, just looked like they were just kind of winning the duels a little bit better. They were able to kind of, you could see it there, particularly from Skitty's 2K Bazooka. Like, they were just winning the fights they wanted to take. They were hitting their shots. Skitty was hitting some incredible 2 out of 3 Zookas there. Whereas the After School Sweets Club, it seemed like they more overwhelmed. They kind of won by the numbers. So Ink Phantoms are kind of showing that they are more of a, you know, soloistic team where like they can win those individual fights. I think that's maybe, you know, that can work in their favor if they set that up. If After School Sweets Club want to keep their winning record going, though, they need to keep forcing these 2v1s.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to Rainmaker Crab like for game 2. A lot of open space here. Pencil works wonders here. Honestly, any backline usually works wonders here because it's just such an open map.
Yeah, it's a long map. Like, this is, we're going to probably see those pencils come out. Maybe we'll even get the rare Splatling in the backline, depending how safe you want to play. But it is Rainmaker, though, so I do expect maybe you're still going to play a little bit more aggressive. Pencil probably being the closest to that backliner we're going to get. We'll see what the teams want to do because, like you said, it is a long and it is a wide map, so there's a lot of space to cover, Drew.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. Do you think we're going to be seeing the same comps?
I don't know. We're probably going to lose at least 1 or 2 of those Reef Sliders. Like, that feels very Splat Zone specific. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to really kind of see what the more comfort picks from these teams are going to be. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was thinking. Okay, I was expecting that. Mm-hmm. And the pencil as well.
And the Wiper. Okay.
Well, you need like a frontline Slayer, and Value has been very, very good at that. They really actually kept double slider. Okay, I have nothing to say about that. I guess I will eat my words there because they kept double slider. I wouldn't have, but I guess when that's your comfort pick, you run the comfort down.
Whatever. Yeah, we do see. Oh, a great trade right there from Johnny on that heavy edit. The Waluigi is going to get this first checkpoint with like, little to no effort. Literally for free.
Yeah, I mean, I actually kind of get playing double Reef Slider if your goal is to try to really rush it down and like run it down to point mid, but like right away it can work, but not against not already being down the penalty.
And we see Value getting picked off with that Ultra Sand from that Reef Slider. 3 are down the side of After School Sweets Club. Skitty trying to get a push going. It's gonna get a few more points.
I'm not crazy about that though. You like ran it kind of into no man's land. It does put the Rainmaker in an odd position where it's difficult to get it out or it's difficult to defend, but at the same time, oh wow, that's unfortunate. That's so unfortunate.
That's out.
Yeah, we're done here. GG.
Wow.
Wow. Okay then. Never mind.
Alrighty.
All right. Well, to be fair, the Phantoms, I think, I'm gonna say this. This is just kind of, take this for what you will. That did kind of feel like a lose on select screen here. Double Reef Slider is a little bit much if you're going to try to play like an aggressive, fast Rainmaker game. Mm-hmm. And the Ink Phantoms just outsped you. Like, they just played so much more aggressive that I don't...
Yeah.
I don't think that was kind of much you could really do about that. That just felt you kind of just got bodied right away.
Yeah, definitely. Double Reef Slider is just so I'm thinking of a word and I can't even think about it. It's a lot.
It's like it's a very niche thing you want. I can see wanting one on a team in a mode like this. I don't know about two. Like even if your goal is to even if your goal is to like run down one, get it to the first point with it, and then have the second one ready to run it down into point two. Like this is a vertical map. You know you're playing a very vertical map. We're just catching that. Sorry, we just caught that cancel again, and that is so brutal. Like that is, I think, kind of the other thing is sometimes just the decisions that get made by After School Club just unfortunately came back to punish them. But but I think that actually just sums it all up. The decisions made kind of unfortunately punished you, and now going to map 3, you have a chance to change that.
Yeah, and it looks like we're playing ship shape twice here. We're going to tower control though.
I don't. This is okay.
Right.
Cool. Well, look, they have a literal chance to fix their mistake, Drew. I like this. I like this looks significantly better. We have a blaster to control some high grounds. I really do like this a lot better. It's a lot slower remote, so it makes a ton more sense. Yeah, okay, this looks better.
Yes. And we do see a V-Splash out, so I see V-Splash, I'd be happy.
Little things.
It's the little things, absolutely.
Now we're still in the neutral. Johnny getting aggressive. That was a smart look. That was smart. Get your pick and get out.
Aggro, head it. Aggro, head it. I was going to see it. Valley. You gonna throw?
Nah. Look, my hammer's bigger. I can win this. But meanwhile, the cart's been rolling in the back, and After School have just been pushing. I love this kind of change of look from the After School Club. They did look better on this map in game 1, so I do think that maybe they're just a little more comfortable here.
Yeah, maybe, but we do see the Kraken out from Waluigi right there. Going to see if they can get a pick. They're probably going to pick value right there. 3 are down on the side of After School Sweets Club. And they finally able to play some defense. Sugi got to jump out, not going to be able to.
Still 3:40 on the clock, so still fairly early. And I mean, the tower still has a long way to go on either side back to the neutral here. With 3 down, I mean, now After School Sweets Club is just, again, in control. This is their second chain fight win, so they've won the fight again. They're able to control a little bit more and hold the space. So now they're in the position while this cart catches up.
Yeah, we see Waluigi with that range buff. They're doing a lot of jump shots. Not something that be doing a lot with the range buff. Wow, we got a wipeout.
Okay, look, Phantom Strike back. That happens. Part of it is if you're going to wipe out, make sure you wipe out quickly and make sure that you do it in the right way. Down a pick immediately onto the Phantom, so After School Club a chance to swing it back.
Yeah, definitely. Those tie strikes are going to be really helpful. We got 2 on top of the tower right now. Ink Phantoms go down 2, go down 3, only Waluigi on that range blaster. And just great defense and use the special just to be able to push out Ink Phantoms right now. Leviathans able to get a pick right there as well, just to get some longevity on this push.
Yeah, the one thing that the Ink Phantoms really haven't been able to do is kind of chain these fight wins together, which in a mode like this is so important. Value into some of the hammer. Wow, finds 1 immediately, and that hammer can just not. Oh, just sends it into the.
Sends it in there. Yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, unfortunate. 220.
Great picks going on right there. Waluigi able to pick one. It's a 1v1. Okay, not a 1v1. It was for like a split second.
I mean, that was a great turnaround from them, but unfortunately, they're in such a tough position. They have this bottleneck now that they really have to get through, and this is not an easy choke point for anybody to get on either side of. So it's going to take a full wipeout to really make any progress here.
With the riskiest lure placement I've seen in a long time. I thought that was getting broken like immediately. I was like,
oh wow,
if that falls,
what a smart play. Wow, what a smart play. Hold on. That crowd, like that look, yeah, just making sure they block the blaster out was huge. What a brilliant decision there. Just to take the crab form, take the bonus HP, and just decide, look, we just need to get this across the line that we can smell the finish line. Beautifully done. Excellent.
Like a perfect setup to do that, but I love doing it whenever I play crab.
Yeah.
It's not very situational.
Oh yeah, it's a set play you can't do kind of all the time, but it was just a beautifully done like use of that special and showing the flexibility because like on a mode like tower, you might feel like you only get the ability to kind of pressure out from range, but great use of just beautifully done. That's something you can carry outside when you eventually get kicked out of low ink.
Fair enough. So that will be round 5 for us, and I'm gonna assume that a lot of other matches are still going on.
Yeah.
I just scrolled down. Well, Santa's not updating on my side, but we have all the scores for round 5 going on. A lot of other matches going on, but we could probably take a quick break and get back to it for round 6.
Yeah, well, join us in a few minutes. Check out all the other scores because most of those games are finishing up. But yeah, we'll be right back in just a few minutes for our final round of the day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We got round 6 of Low Ink starting up now between, I believe, This Is Fine and Red Leviathans.
Yeah, this is the last match of the day, and there's no better way to send us out on the last match of the day by bringing 2 of our top contenders into the alpha bracket. This is Fine sitting in second, and Red Leviathan sitting in third. Very, very close margins, both 4-1. Both of these teams, Drew, are going to clear into the alpha bracket. It looks like even with a loss to go to 4-2, it's very likely they will, but seeding is so important going into day 2 that every single game in this set matters.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Both these teams are going to be gunning for that higher seed. This is going to be one for the ages. 2 of the best teams in Group B fighting it off to end the day. What more can you ask for?
Well, we could ask for some good maps to go with it, I guess, and maybe some good luck for all those people betting in chat. But hey, it is what it is. We'll take what we can get here, and we do have, speaking of that, we have our map list up. But I don't have it in front of me because I am a fool. There it is. It is. You take us in.
We got clams on crab leg to start it off. Very interesting. And then we go to game 2. We got zones on ramen. First time we're seeing ramen for our few rounds. And then we're ending off in Rainmaker Scorched Gorge. First time we're seeing that as well.
I say a lot of maps that people have played before, but a lot of maybe variants on it. Splat zones with the row of ramen is probably one of the most probably one of the more particularly ones that everybody plays and everybody kind of wants to play. So that one, I think game 2 is definitely going to be a banger of a match. But Clam Blitz for Crab Leg is going to be a very interesting beast. Like the high ground vertical pathing is needs to be so contested. So this is going to be a very, very good look and test for our blaster players and any backline snipers or splatlings we have. This is going to be a very, very interesting for these 2 teams to see how they position and manage those high grounds.
Yeah, I'm going to be really excited to see what we're going to see. Do you think we're going to be seeing splatlings? Or do you think we're just going to be seeing pencils it's kind of usually do?
It's probably pencils. This isn't long enough to warrant, I don't think, a lot of the big backline splatling that has cooler on it. So it's probably going to be pencil with a blaster somewhere to kind of help support and cover the high grounds. I think the real question is going to be, what are the slayers, the frontline carries, going to be bringing in? Because you can get away with something like a Wiper. You can even get away with a little bit of the dualies if you are quick enough, because it's very easy to play on and off the verticals if you have dualies. If you have an extra movement just to kind of keep yourself going, you can get an escape with it. But I think what specials the front lines and what weapons the front lines bring in is going to tell a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And both of these teams are starting to ready up right now, so we should be getting in shortly.
It's worth noting that, as I alluded to earlier, both of these teams are very likely to have clear. Winner will have 100% clearance into the alpha bracket. The second team, though, is likely going to be fighting for those spots in. So the Red Leviathans are just a slightly bit behind. I think they have a map loss, an additional map loss somewhere in there. So the Leviathans in particular really need to close this out in 2, preferably 3. They need the win, but they really need all 3 if they want to make sure, or they need to keep this close, a 2-1 if they really want to stay in, because there are 4 other teams at the 4-1 marker in addition to these 2. So it's going to be very, very close. So keeping this a close full 3 is so important for both of these teams.
Yeah, and we are finally going to get started now. Game 1. Let's see what both these teams are deciding to pick. We see double Slosher on the side of Red Leviathans. And Glugas. When's the last time you've seen a Gluga?
Just say rarely. All right, double Slosher I will take as a replacement for Blaster. Yeah, that makes sense to me. The triple ink strike also coming in very huge there. But the Glugas is a very interesting pick, and I wasn't the dualies I was expecting to see here.
Yeah, we do see the Vanilla Nautilus as well, but it's going to get picked off very quickly by that pencil. See Jakin going for uplifts right there on the... I believe that's a junior, but
it's 2
down. Wow.
3.
Wow.
What an opening set. That triple is so big. Clicker is the only one remaining, and they're doing their best to kind of hold and give up the space, but this is a very, very aggressive comp out of This Is Fine, and they are being rewarded for it.
Yeah, we do see Jim with that booyah. Gonna get picked off by the pencil again. We do see the Junior sharking on that block right by the pencil. And they're gonna get picked off right there. A beautiful shark. And are they gonna be able to score? Yes, they will. They've got enough claims.
They've got enough. Look, sometimes, again, when the fire's on, you gotta sometimes do it. The jump in's gonna get immediately punished. Dodges out for one, not enough to get in. Sometimes it was a bit of a greedy push, but I think at this point you kind of had to do it. They're gonna drop the bubble. It's gonna get, yeah, I don't know about that. I feel like maybe there was a plan to keep the push going, but 68 is the number for now. Again, it was a bit greedy, but I do think it was the right call.
Yeah, definitely. Just getting a bit more points in. Get that lead extended as far as you can. You see Panthers right there getting picked off by the pencil as well. Another gets picked off mid-jump. See Jam with that glue that's behind their wall, taking a pretty good position. Having to drop down, and you see Jaking with that 52. Trying to get a pick on kill, is going to be able to narrowly get it.
A lot of burst potential from the side of Red Leviathans, which I think really does work in their favor. All it takes is winning, you know, 1 or 2 duels, and suddenly you have the ability to go on it. But 3 minutes and still 2 claims up for the Leviathans. They actually are in a decent position to push and get some points.
Yeah, and DC Jam right there getting picked off. We see the Reslider. Not going to be able to get picked off, but Panthers is going to have to drop down.
Great use
of
of
that elite.
They do. They sure do. That's the kind of reward of a little bit more of a slower strategic push, right? Is the ability, and a second one in the clam from back home got in as well. That's the benefit to a more strategic, slower push, right? A more methodical one. You have the clearance. You use your specials to buy the space. It gets you in, and it gets you the chance to kind of get a very, very big lead like that. 33 to 68 is enough to hold this out, because with 2 minutes, you're probably not getting more than 1 or 2 pushes in, but This Is Fine is a very aggressive team, as you see right there.
Yeah, but 2 of them are going to go down immediately right there. They have the bubble ready, though, and they're going to be popping it immediately. Getting a pick on the slaughter right there. Trying to extend this as much as they can. Not going to be able to point yet. And getting a few more points on the board, but not going to be nearly enough to get lead back.
The aggressive play from This Is Fine is, like, it's working in their favor. You can see it. But the problem is the rest of the team is very disjointed. So it's a little bit like off-put when they try to move forward or move into that. It was a great bit of bubble dancing there, but there was no one to follow up and no one to help Jam there in that. Has to give both of those up for the pick, and Jam is going to control the high ground now, so it looks like This Is Fine looking for another push.
Yeah, Jaking in that corner looked like you're playing a lottery every time you play 52. That RNG can either be completely in your favor or nowhere close in your favor. And right then, it was nowhere close. You see Sim with a Reslider going to hit the wall. Not going to get anyone there, but 2 are down on the side of This Is Fine.
Yeah, you're pretty happy with that, I think, all things considered. Now, with the Leviathans in that position with 1 minute to score, they're going to get a lot of the ultimates out of This Is Fine just to kind of stop this push. I mean, it's going to be costly.
Yeah, you see the Junior getting stuck there, barely is going to get picked off by Sim and that Reslider. Very strong pick by Sim right there.
45 seconds now, still trying to fight their way in. I mean, they managed to get it, yes, down, but they get it, and Sim can't quite push up that ramp. There's no special online, so the hold for now. They get away with 1 of those power claims, and there's 1 on either side, so overtime is going to tick down. This Is Fine needs a good push here. They cannot afford they cannot afford to get picked here, just like that. I cursed it.
Commentators, yep, and there's another pick from Jason right there. Very beautiful pick. Are they going to be able to get one? Another
one. It's all falling apart, Drew.
It might be falling apart, but Jam in the corner, gonna get picked there as well. Jaking going for an aggressive spot, trying to pick Kale right there. Not gonna be able to, but it looks like... No, we have overtime.
Yeah, there's still a clam active. There's a clam active, but they don't have the position, and this one's gonna get... I said this one's gonna get taken out. No. Still manages it, and Clicker Pups gets it through. It's 1 down. That's gonna be it. There's the wipeout. There's the game.
Game 1 going to Red Leviathans.
That was very, very, I said, they're very interesting of the 2 different styles of play we saw there. This Is Fine, a lot more chaotic. I can see how with that style of play, this very like in your face aggressive, not giving you the chance to breathe or set up style, how they got to this top position, this number 2 position. But the Red Leviathans, they won as a team. They set themselves up for their plays. They made sure everything went right. They covered when they were in 2v1s or when they needed support. And it just showed that even with only getting one clam in, like one opening, it was a huge win for their teamwork. So Red Leviathans, I said they needed to win in a very dominant fashion to keep themselves going in higher seeding for day 2. They're making their way towards it.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm actually taking a look at the stream right now. I'm looking at the predictions. 79% went in the way of This Is Fine. So
I mean, I don't think there was like a bad choice for this. I really don't think. Yeah, I don't
These
think
are like 2 of the best teams in Group B. There is no bad choice for this.
Yeah. Speaking of no bad choice, Splat Zone's Robo Ramen. Not a bad choice for a map. This is one of those ones that, again, almost every competitive tournament, whether you play in it, whether you watch it, it's always going to show up. So I think that this is, again, like if Clamblag was maybe like the outlier for this is going to be that one where both of these teams are like, they're peak practiced. We've known this, we've played this, it's zones, we know how to play this. So I have to assume that this is we're gonna see like the final forms of these teams right now.
Yeah, if Red Leviathans wants this alpha bracket, this is their true test of strength right here. If they want to win this game and be able to, hopefully, a win pretty much solidifies alpha.
Yeah,
okay.
Correct.
If they want alpha, they need to win this right here, right now. But they still, even if they do lose it, they have one more chance with Rainmaker scores. But it would be easier to just get the stress out of the way, win right now, if you have alpha.
Yeah, like you'd much rather just not have to worry about it, because even just getting the 2, even a 2-1, it still guarantees you it. It brings you to 5-1, and it sits you calmly in the alpha bracket. But it's really going to come down to, again, for the Red Leviathans, they need to close this out. They need the win here. And on the other side, This Is Fine. Like, it's starting to look not fine for them. So they need to have a plan going into this, and they need to be able to kind of maybe pull it together. Maybe a little bit of nerves, just get the team back together. You can play aggressive and you can play a little, deathmatchy 1v1 and like that, but you got to make sure you cover your bases, and we'll see if they can do it.
Yeah, it looks like both these teams are playing
similar.
I think Pamper switched to the other Nautilus for Splashdown and Suction. But other than that, no changes by comp-wise. Just see J can go down pretty early though, and Sim just doing what they could do in mid. But they're gonna get rushed back pretty hard. But I think Jam might down Rugas. The bubble is popped, but Sim does have a leaf slider if they need it.
No, that's such an early killer whale as well. Like, that was seconds out the gate. So again, just pushing it in. That reslider doesn't get anybody, but it does buy the space back for Sim. There's finally the pick we're looking for. And well, control will come in just in the nice of time.
Yeah, and are they gonna be able to? Yes, they are gonna be able to get some. Okay, took a bit of time, but they are finally in control zone for Red Leviathans. But it looks like This Is Fine might be just taking it immediately right back. Pampers with that triple splashdown ready. He sees the bubble as well, but the reslider comes in, able to pick one at least. But This Is Fine is able to take the zone back, but J King able to get a great pick on kill right there, and Jam, great double right there.
Yeah, again, this is one of those maps that you can really benefit from taking these side angles. You have so much vertical to play around that your frontliners really do need to keep the head, keep everybody looking. You are never really safe, and neither is the zone. So 340, still a lot of time, and we'll see this pass back and forth a couple more times.
He played so aggressively around those walls. Very great positioning right there. Red Leviathans was able to take lead for a bit. We see Jam getting a pick right there. Great 1-2 from Kale and Jam right there.
Not real much progress made, though, as the picks continue to trade. Clicker just policing the high ground now. I mean, at 28, this is actually looking like a closeout. Red Leviathans might actually close this out. This cooler almost seals it, Drew.
Maybe. We'll have to see the bubble. Do you go down on the side of This Is Fine?
Yeah. It's...
Oh, it's a 2v2.
No, we're fine here. No, Leviathans, it's not fine.
No.
It's just
fine?
Jam, no, it's not fine. It's not fine. It's no longer fine.
It's fine for Red Leviathans because they just guaranteed a spot in alpha.
Yeah, and a well-deserved at that. This is one of those, again, as I alluded to, this is a map that everybody plays. And a lot of time you don't see necessarily knockouts like this. It's usually very more back and forth, but it just feels like Red Leviathans just absolutely just knew what they needed to do and did it all correctly. They really kind of disengaged, I think, as they needed to. That early wave, the early whale actually kind of threw me through a wave, so they disengaged against that, saved up, had their special, and then tried to push back in with it as opposed to, just trying to again. It feels like this is fine, just throws everything the second they get it. They play aggressive. They're trying to keep you moving and guessing. And the Red Leviathans, they kept calm under the pressure, so kudos to them. They have earned their alpha bracket, but there's still one more game and a chance for this is fine to secure theirs as well.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to, I think, Rainmaker? Yeah, Rainmaker Scorch. Okay.
Right. Yes. I don't know that this does any favors, though, to This Is Fine. Like, they're a frontline aggressive squad, and I don't know that they've been using a lot of these like flank angles to get a ton of value. Maybe they can here. There are multiple ways to get around with Rainmaker, and they're the mode favors an aggressive comp, but I'm not really sold based on what we've seen here.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see it. We're looking at all the teams pick their weapons right now, and right now, just a bit of a behind the scenes. Red Leviathans, it's completely locked in.
Oh yeah, they didn't change a thing. They
are not changing anything.
Yeah, no,
if it ain't broke, then fix it. But This Is Fine is taking
not.
their time a bit, just seeing if they need to make any sort of change. Which, I mean, if you have a main weapon that you're really good with, that you're confident with, why would you not play it? Who cares what the meta thinks? Why would you just not play that? And I feel like that's kind of what players like Jam are like with those Glugas.
See, I'm inclined to agree with you, but the problem is like in a meta that's very defined by one particular special, arguably, to not have cooler can be a bit of a problem, right? Like, there's just a longer fight that works because you have cooler, you get faster jump ins, you get a little bit more speed, shot fire a little bit up as well. Like, you are just kind of disadvantaged to have any sort of special. I say that, and Pampers finds the opening pick and gets aggressive. Maybe too aggressive.
Maybe a bit, but they're able to get out though.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. This is looking A-okay for This Is Fine.
No, this is kind of what I would have expected out of this, right? Like, Rainmaker wants you to go fast, it wants you to move, especially when you get an opening pick. So this makes sense. They'll send in Reef Slider gets no value there as well. Picks come through, but it's basically over, and Jam is the survivor. They will see themselves back to spawn shortly.
Shortly before they get a few points in and are able to extend lead a little bit though.
I mean, 52. That's a decent point. That's a winning percentage, but it is going to be a tough spot to get out of here, considering it's back in the gorge already with Clicker now rightfully holding on, looking for a pick.
Yeah, and you see Jam in that corner right there. Maybe picked out of there at some point. So we do see the bubble from the junior as well, but if that's gonna not get broken, I thought it was gonna get okay. Now it is.
This Is Fine has good control of the Rainmaker for now, but they don't really have much space control. Jam kind of gets caught out on that flank angle, and this is again where that team play from the Red Leviathans have been giving them so much work. You can see that everybody kind of turns immediately when they recognize there's one player on their own. So Red Leviathans, just again, great teamwork, really kind of helping lead their way to success here. You'll see it on this next push as well.
Yeah, so we're in with that Rainmaker, seeing what they can do right there. Has the backing of Clicker Pup on that pencil, but they're gonna go down.
Well, that was like the flanking, but this was the flanking angles that I wanted to see out of This Is Fine, so that's great. I love that. Amisika did exactly what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, they just don't have the power to go forward on it.
Yeah, but this entire game, I feel like This Is Fine has had very good control of mid. Not really allowing Red Leviathans to have that much mid control, and even if they do, they have it only for like maybe 10 seconds, and they're able to take it back again. So very good other displacement and crowd control by them.
Yeah, the map. Oh, what a beautifully done! Like the map control and the space control from the side of This Is Fine has been stellar. This is exactly what I wanted to see out of them if they were going to stand a chance to do it. Unfortunately, they're now starting to lose the 1v1s. And Jam again, I feel like every time we're on Jam, they are just on their way back to spawn.
are able to pop the Rainmaker finally. Red Leviathans might be able to start a push of their own finally. Rin does have those triple ink strikes. Are they going to pop it this early? Yes, they are. There's just so much going on right now. I'm trying to be like, okay, whose special is this? Whose special is that? I don't know. But we're just going to keep going. They can go for the pop. Are they going to be able to go for lead? Not going to be able to. Not quite. As 3 go down, and Clicker Puff is going to have to back out for the Leviathans.
In Leviathans, you can't panic. This is one of those modes where you have to make sure you are ready to move the Rainmaker when you have a pick, when you have some sort of advantage. And 130 is enough time to keep it moving, but with the Rainmaker now, I mean, I guess it's just kind of stuck back there. I guess it's in position. It didn't move. So the Leviathans, okay, they're going to let it reset.
Yeah.
Now that it's in the middle, you kind of have the ability to, slow it down again and get your kind of set plays going. But I don't think This Is Fine are going to let them have that.
Yeah, definitely. Looks to be a bit of stagnant neutral right now. No clear winner or whatever. We get a trade right there with the junior and the 52, J King, right there. It looks like this fight is just playing the mid game. They're not going for a okay, I'd say that, yeah, that's okay. But,
good shoot.
On. Very good pick right there. Very good double as well at Pampers. Seeing if they can get the third. Not going to be able to with the Splatoon, but they might be able
there's the third.
Follow through. Yes, they will.
Huge for Pampers, and this is going to cement that lead even further. Booyah Bomb sent in as well, and Kale just going to send in a few more shots. Again, we've hit that bottleneck, that choke point. That's going to be so hard to push through, but Kale, I mean, the deeper in this gets, the harder it is to dislodge. So This Is Fine kind of cementing their victory here with getting this far.
Yeah, Jan doing a very good job with getting some jumps in, trying to get a pick of the pencil, not going to be able to. Very close, though.
Very close. Last 12 seconds. It's going to trigger overtime for the Leviathans. They'll have one last shot at this. Whale to kick it off. It's going to be a tough ask now that we're on 3v3. No specials on, so it's pure neutral here.
Definitely. We have the Rainmaker in the side of Red Leviathan. If they get picked off, it's game, but it's looking like it's going to happen. This Is Fine is able to take at least one game of this set. So this set ends in a 2-1.
With that 2-1, we know that the Red Leviathans will go on to day 2, and This Is Fine is also probably likely to move forward as well. They do fall to 4-2, but it does give them a slightly higher percentage on the map wins, thanks to that extra win. So does work in their favor. This is kind of the best case scenario for both teams, other than just straight calling it a draw. Which why would we do that? That would be that would be fun.
That
wouldn't be fun.
Boring.
That's not fun. Yeah, that's not fun.
No.
We're not doing that. No. What a day! What a day of
what a great day
here. Yeah, what an incredible day. From this last banger with This Is Fine Red Leviathans all the way back into the earlier sections. Like, we have seen so many incredible teams still finishing up, even just getting a look back. Whiprays again finally coming in to a 3-0 in this last one, maybe making a chance into the beta bracket. But just, again, so much incredible Splatoon here today.
Yeah, it was such a fun day. Such a fun, few hours just being able to be on here and watch some competitors Splatoon.
Yeah, and the good news is, and the good news, Drew, is that there's even more tomorrow. Day 2 is going to be kicking off into the afternoon. So, we're done for now, but that gives you time to rest, recharge, and get ready because we have Low Ink Sunday coming up. But for now, that's going to be it from us, myself, Soav, Drew Mar, and behind the scenes, Inkfair, giving us those incredible views. Thank you all. And from IPL and the rest of us here, we will see you tomorrow for more Low Ink.